Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Just going to do a quick audio test. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. We're here in Newark Airport on FSX. We're here in lovely Drzecki Design Freeware, New York. Excuse me now, I had something stuck a little bit. Anyway, yeah, we're here in Drzecki Design, New York, version 2, the freeware version. For a lot of his projects, he uploads a demo, which is basically you can use it for however you want, for however long you want. It's not a demo as in a time thing, it's a demo as in, like UK 2000 provide free UK scenery. It's basically the payware scenery and then scaled back. So the textures aren't quite as good, the performance is slightly better, some of the buildings aren't quite as sharp, things like that. But we're using real life time right now, so it's currently 4 AM here in Newark. Which is in New Jersey / New York. It's classed as a New York airport, but it's actually in the Strait of New Jersey. Kind of interesting. It's in New York's airspace and things, though, so we're saying it's New York. But here we are. So, and you can see New York, and all the rest of it in the background. I've actually been to Newark Airport. It's all right. There's a few long lines around the place, but it's all right. But today we've got a bit of an interesting flight ahead of us, actually, because well, we have got to do a little bit of weather dodging today. So. Well, obviously in an ideal world I'd be straight up to flight level 400 in this plane and just there all day, but if I show you guys a very, very horrible looking weather sort of diagram, here you go, you can see after I take off from Newark Airport, between flight level 320 and 490, strongest at 400, there is a very strong jet stream. Now if that jet stream was pulling us to Memphis, great, we can stick there. Maybe it'll be a bit bumpy, but fine. It's actually pulling us away from Memphis. We would have a very strong headwind, like you can see there, what's that, 50, 100, 110, 120, about 135 knots, yeah? That'll be pulling us away from Memphis, so it's a lot quicker, about 5 minutes quicker, if we start off our flight at flight level 320, and then continue onwards from there. We were meant to be, according to Simmery's, going to flight level 400 and then descending straight away, which I'm not a fan of because I don't think this thing will climb quite that quickly, especially if there's restrictions on the departure, which Simbrief doesn't calculate for. But you can see, yeah, so we're going to be at flight level 320 until about here, and then we'll go up to flight level 400 then for the rest of the flight. So just a little bit of, that's why we've got a bit of an odd cruising altitude today, is thanks to that rather horrible weather chart there. So, well, yeah, let's get into the flight then. Now, one really cool thing about America is that, obviously, normally you'd use Flight Radar 24 to tell where the planes are flying in and out of, but say it's a bit quiet, or whatever, Live ATC, which is a service that provides, well, Live ATC, has the Live ATC for US. Pretty much every airport in the US, every major airport has it. I'm hoping Newark has it. I'll search it now. Yeah, it has Newark. So, if we want to, I mean, by the looks of it on Flight Radar, there's plenty of planes. United from Bangor just landed, wherever that is, somewhere in the US, hour away from New York. Touchdown on 22, is it, here? Yeah, 22 right. So it looks like they're using 22 right for landing. They might just be using the one runway right now, because obviously it being 4 AM in Newark, it's probably not very busy. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this plane set up then. Why have we not got sound? Oh, great. Yep, welcome to PMDG's planes. This happens often. we'll just ignore that. Right, okay, so what we need to do then, I'm just getting ready to put up the Mad Chili is currently flight planning screen. There we go. And we need to, looks like, reload this plane. This does happen occasionally with PMDG aircraft. It's not just the 777 that has it. It's a bit of a shame, and it means I have to load in a default plane and then reload the 777. Otherwise, the PMDG aircraft won't work. So, bear with me. Just need to wait now. It's going to be a bit slow. It's always a bit laggy. Not laggy, but like very slow when swapping between planes. So what we want to do is load in a default 737. Is normally what I found is the best one to load in. I don't think it matters, to be honest. I think it's just a little bit random. And then we'll give it a go. See what's going on. Because, yeah, unfortunately, that does happen in FSX from time to time. I don't really know why. I think it's a bug with what do you call it? I think it's a bug with the PMDG aircraft. I don't know why it happens. And then we just need to reload the 777. So I've loaded in the default plane, and then I'll just reload in the 777, and then we're good to go. So don't worry, we're doing alright. It is just a bit annoying, really. It's kind of like, you know, cost us a few minutes, but no mind. It's a bit of a slow start to today anyway, because I've had, you know, obviously introducing guys to why we're having a bit of a strange journey over today. A bit of a lower cruise altitude at first. There we go, loaded back in to Newark. Hopefully the plane will be all good. There we go. And we have sound. Great. Excellent. So, we are in. We just need to wait for the systems on the PMDG to initialise, and then we can be good to go. Spawned in at the same stand, just ready to go now. And obviously all the lights have been put on for us by the game, which is nice. And we're going to connect the GPU as well. Make sure that's on. Oh, right, that was my fault. Sorry. Yeah, that may have turned off the yaw damper. Maybe not, I don't know. We'll turn on the ADIRU, that's the nav systems. The packs can go into auto because they are, well, as it suggests, it's totally auto. And we're just going to basically, this one can go onto the FMC. We're running the latest Air Act today. Actually, one thing I haven't done is search the SimBrief downloader. That's my fault. We'll do that then, because we need to do that to get our flight plan today. So we'll do that. Obviously, that's how you can get accurate flights and things, accurate routings, without having to put them in this plane, which is really cool. There you go. So we set our initial position. It shouldn't take too long in America. No, actually, I think that's a setting. It must be a setting. It's normal. I don't know. I did a practice flight in this plane yesterday, which is why I'm flying today. I felt like flying it, and the RS aligned really quickly. I just thought it was because Miami, where I was flying from, was quite close to the equator. Obviously, if you're closer to the equator, it's quicker. And I looked around the settings to try and find evidence that the IRS had a setting to change when it aligned, and I couldn't find anything. I honestly couldn't find anything. Also, I've turned off RAS because, I don't know, I don't think it causes crashes, but I just don't even see the benefit in it, so I turn it off. But yeah, where is that IRS then? I don't see it anywhere. A lot. IRS, I don't see it anywhere. Displays? It might be under, I've checked all of them though. Unless I've just been blind, but I can't see it, you know? It's not on any of those. It wouldn't be on failures, would it? I doubt it'd be on failures, no. So I'm trying to figure out where it would be to change, because I would like it to be like real life, but I can't, unless I'm just being dumb. I might search it up. I think I'll search it up later, because honestly, I can't see anything there that suggests. Is it under options? No, that was where we were before. It could be under aircraft. Wait, that's where we were before. Options, simulation. Oh, I bet it's under here. I bet it's in simulation. I don't think I checked that. Sorry guys, this has been a bit of a weird start to the stream, hasn't it? Right. PMDG setup. You know what? Let's get the payload sorted first, and then I'll go faffing around with options. It saves us a lot of time. Today we have 23 500 kilos of fuel. That's a lot of fuel. We're not actually that heavy today, though. We've got a very low amount of cargo, so this thing will probably just go zooming off as soon as we take off. The 777 is so overpowered. Even when I was very heavy out of Miami yesterday, it was climbing like mad. This thing has some pretty serious climb stuff. Right, start recording on Skytrack as well. I will just check then. Zero fuel weight, which is what you enter into a cargo airplane, 170.2. Yeah, that's not very heavy at all. 170.2, that's really not much. So, I guess that's kind of that, isn't it? I mean, look at that, 27%. There's not a lot of cargo going down to Memphis today. I guess that's just that, really. We'll open all the doors as well, ready for GSX. And let's get GSX underway, and then we can worry about all the other stuff. Call time today is Skyway 7581. I'm on 777 freighter. There is absolutely no, there's one Al plane heading to Tel Aviv at the moment on the ground here in Newark, but nothing else. We're at the FedEx cargo ramp, so handling by FedEx, obviously. I don't know which airport Memphis is. I mean, I flew into Louisville yesterday, which was UPS, and Miami, I think, was mostly FedEx. Obviously, I'm flying for a virtual airline, so it's irrelevant. But it's FedEx. Okay, it's FedEx down in Memphis. So we'll pretend we're doing a flight on behalf of FedEx today, I guess. Sadly, I've found a lot of these airports, the cargo airports, they don't have parking stand charts, which is really annoying. They don't actually tell you where they're going. It's quite annoying. Oh well, we'll just ignore that, I guess. Yeah, it is a little annoying, but we'll just ignore that, I guess, won't we? I'm just sorting out our route quickly. There we go. Right, anyway, let's go back to this now. Yeah, we'll go back to this now. So, what am I doing? What was I doing? Oh yeah, I've already entered in everything. We're going to confirm settings, weren't we? I don't know what I'm doing today, do I? FS actions. No. PMDG setup. PMDG setup. Options. Simulation. It'll be in here. I bet it'll be in here. This is where all the stuff is. Wait, what? No. Okay, it's not in there. This is what I mean. I'm positive I looked yesterday. But where is it? Seriously, where is it? Am I... Oh, like... IRS options. Boom. Realistic. Found it. We found it in the end. It's because it was a separate menu. Right, let's get on with our route now. I've wasted too much time. We're going from Newark to Memphis, which is KMEM. Enter that in. Request our route then, and we can get started. Okay, yeah, sorry for the bit of a slow start to the stream then. Got away now. Yeah. That's that, I guess, isn't it? Kind of a shame. Oh well. Right. Go ahead and activate the route then. Call sign state is Skyways 7581. We need to say it like that because we're in America, remember. It's how they say it in America. It's slightly different. Load the route. I've got to load it. I just click activate straight away. That means, yeah, that means I need to load in the... Right, activate it now. Execute that. Great, and we should now see everything in here. Yep, great, and we want to put in our zero fuel weight, which is 170.2. Actually, he goes to calculate this for us, so cruise altitude 400. That is not correct, so we have to reject this. It calculated the reserves at 6.2. Generally, I'll just, so that was correct, obviously, so we'll say that. Cost index we know is 90, and we're cruising initially at 320 thanks to weather. That's why we're choosing a bit of a low cruise altitude at the moment. At first. Right, route data, load the wind, let's get that in there, execute that, and descent forecast is ready, so forecast, load. Obviously, transition altitude is 180 here, all across America. And then we go, that is everything in there. And we are departing off runway 22 right, I believe. Is that what they're still using down in Newark? I can't believe there's still flights landing in Newark at 4 AM. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. Right, let's grab the ATIS from Newark then. The real-life ATIS, that is. Once it manages to connect. Now, the one from Louisville was basically unreadable, so we'll give it a go. QNH, yeah, it might be unreadable though.
2.9.
Oh, that's better.
Altimeter
That's readable.
3006. ILS runway 22 left approach in use. Departing runway 22 right from intersection whiskey.
Alright, 22 right from intersection whiskey we're going to be using. That's what they're doing in real life, so that's what we're going to be following. We're doing the port 2 with the park transition. And that's what I love. You can just connect and go, oh, I wonder what they're using in Newark. Alright, I'll grab the ATIS. It's perfect. I much prefer that. So from intersection whiskey, that's right at the back of the fields. We're going to taxi out the FedEx ramp. Is there a connection between the rest of the airfield and that part of the FedEx ramp? Yes, there is. So we're going to taxi out that way, and then head down one of these two taxiways all the way to the end. That's the plan. Right, routes, that's all in there then. And then after, right, we are going to be cruising after, we're going to climb from the weather, at the end of the weather, after Martinsburg. After Mike Romeo Bravo, that's where we're climbing. So, we want to put in /400S there. So we want to stay low, miss out the horrible weather, and then climb. We're only going to be at 320 for a little bit, so we're all good. Probably a flat 5 takeoff. We're not very heavy, obviously. V-speed's 141. There, the trim won't work yet because we haven't fired up the hydraulics, so we'll wait for that. Flight directors left side, right side, and now nav and VNav. We can go straight up to 320 because I don't believe there are any restrictions on the departure, are there? Nope. We depart from doing a right turn from Bagger to port and then straight onwards towards park. No restrictions at all, so that's great. Runway heading is going to be 219. And, well, I think we're mostly ready to go now. I'm happy with all the lighting as it is. I prefer this sort of lighting to the other kind of lighting. Now, oh, Active Sky hasn't started. That would have been a bit rubbish if I hadn't started Active Sky. That would have been bad if I hadn't started Active Sky. That would have been real bad. Because, obviously, the weather we have is quite important to what we're doing today. Yeah, right, we'll just let the weather refresh. It needs to refresh to make sure it's the newest weather. There, QNH right now is 3006. And we're going to grab the ATIS as well for what's it called? As I said, there's no ATIS feed for Memphis, so sadly we're not going to be able to get the ATIS for Memphis, but we have got flight radar. So, luckily, despite the slightly odd time of day, we have actually still got coverage over Memphis, which is kind of nuts, really. A FedEx plane landed half hour ago, so that was the last plane that used it. Yeah, there's no access to the ATIS, unfortunately. And it landed it landed from the north. However, a plane here, FedEx 1293, landed going the other way. So I'm not totally sure what they're doing down in Memphis right now. I guess we'll keep an eye on it, really, because there's plenty of planes on the ground. There's probably going to be more approaching, so we'll keep an eye on it. At the moment, I think they're going to be using runway 09. Yeah, it was 09. No, it was 36 left that plane landed on. We're not going to be using 09. We're going to be using one of the 36s, I think. But I said we don't have access to the ATIS, unfortunately. So I think we're going to be using runway 36. That FedEx plane used 36 left. But then there was another one, so that other one used a different runway, so I'm not totally sure what they're doing in Memphis right now. Sadly, there's not enough planes in the area to really know, because it's night time. And as I said, we don't have the ATIS, so I'm searching it up now, and it's not on. Yeah, they haven't got it. They haven't got the ATIS, sadly, which is a shame. So I guess we'll just well, I don't know, that the last plane that landed used the 36 left. That was the last one that landed just now, because it's still taxiing along the apron. So 36 left is what we'll use, and we'll try and work it out otherwise. I think that's fair enough, really. Let's get the charts up for the landing down in there. Now, luckily, I think with the US as well, a lot of approaches, they all end in vectors, basically. So even if we change runways, it won't matter what runway we're landing on. It's still the same sort of thing. So I'm expecting, if we head here, one thing I hate about this 777, you have to like enter in twice there. Great, we're going to be taking ILS 36 left, and it's going to be the Bluz 3 with the Bravo Whiskey Golf transition. Any transition needed? That's the Winston transition. I don't think we need that. I think it's vectors, isn't it? So we'll go ahead and accept that. And then it's basically vectors then to vectors from Dinky. Now, I don't want vectors, so I think, because we won't have any ATC. We're definitely not going to be having any ATC, I don't think. So I think we've got to just ignore that. And we're going to basically delete the vectors. We're going to put in Macy, and then just delete the vectors using that. So enter that in, that'll calculate it all for us, that'll get our route up. Our route today is supposed to be about 830 miles, 856 miles, so we're pretty good at our current sort of level then. And we can get underway, I think, finally. How are they doing with the cargo? Is it almost finished? Great, it has almost finished, so that means that seatbelt signs have to come on. Again, I'm not totally sure why a cargo plane has those. Right, APU start, seatbelt signs on, beacon light on, strobe light on, and we'll get all this sorted. We can get the fuel pumps on, and we're going to wait for the hydraulics to fire up. We need to do the right one first before we can fire up the others. There you go, the fault light's gone off, so we can start up all the others, and that means we can do the trim. The trim today, we're going to be doing a thrust limit, pretty much a full thrust limit today. It's going to be 3.25. This thing climbs like an absolute beast, so I don't want to make it any worse. Right, 3.25, that's the trim set. And yeah, 141's a very, very low V2 speed, but that's just how we got, I guess, that's how we got it today. Now, oh yeah, emergency lights need arming. And TCAS will set to 2200 and we'll turn it on, and we should see less and less warnings there. Right, prepare for pushback and departure. We're going to be pushing back to the right, I think. And then from there we'll work it out. Yeah, so we're all looking good. Yeah, if we were doing any of the other runways, literally any other runway, we'd get vectors from Copen to the runway. But because we're taking the 36s, we get vectors from Dinky. So we'll have to see what they're doing down in Memphis. In fact, another plane has just touched down on runway. Wait, that's taking off. Okay, so they're taking off on runway 27 or 09. To take off, they're using 27. So taking off, they're using the 27. I think to land, they're using 36. So I think that's what they're doing down in Memphis, trying to work it out. And I guess that's just that, really. There's no traffic in the area anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Also, let's shut the doors, I think. Well, it's probably best if we do that. And I think we're also on APU power now, aren't we? Yep, that means I can safely disconnect the ground power. And then we'll head to doors. So we're going to close the passenger door. And we're going to close all of the back doors as well. And then we can arm passenger door, and then just the main deck cargo one then needs to be finished, which in fact the last piece of cargo has just gone into. So we can go ahead and close that. Right, let's tune ourselves onto Unicom then, 122.8. We're not going to be having the ATC today, I don't think. Although yesterday, it was in the afternoon, mind you. I did have some ATC in Miami, which was nice. So it's always rare to get ATC in America, but it's nice when you do. But anyway, let's go ahead and, I think we're basically done now. Weather, traffic, weather and turbulence. We're definitely going to be eagerly watching the weather radar today, thanks to that jet stream, at least in the first part of the flight. Right, everything's all set up then. And all this stuff is done with as well. Everything's good. And we're just waiting for the tow truck now. Right, let's go ahead and head to flap 5 then for takeoff. So 1 and 5. I think that's 5 set anyway. Yep.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
Setting the view up. There we go. That's what I like. And that's it, guys. We are ready to go. Everything up there's looking good. No engine messages. No warning messages apart from that engine shutdown one, which is always there. So we're good to go. And we're only getting 20 FPS, but I'm streaming. And look at this complex scenery. This scenery is very intensive for FSX, at least, anyway. But it's amazing. Right, we're going to push back to the right then.
Departure check completed. Bypass commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
There you go. Start. And obviously auto start in this plane, so you put in the fuel immediately. This plane still does the weird jolting bug when it's pushed back by GSX. They still haven't fixed that. I don't know why. Now the LL plane that's on the ground here is still here. That's a long flight. It's a 777 actually, going all the way to Tel Aviv. 5,000 miles. There it is over there. You can see there. That's a long trip. Wow. And we're also going to have the wing lights turned on and the logo lights turned on because it's so dark. We could do with it. Right, let's go ahead and get the left engine fired up now as well. Flaps 5 is set, there you go, and the right engine is now done with. As the left engine begins to start. We've got all our lights on now. All our lovely lights, apart from obviously all the ones we need for takeoff and all that. We're still jolting like crazy. Right, stop here and completely push back. There you go. They pushed us back way too far there.
Set parking brakes.
Parking brakes are set.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Engines are good. And there we go. Engines are set. So we just need to wait now. Actually, we can cut the APU, can't we? The APU gen stays all the time on this flight, this plane, I think, because it moans at you if you turn it off. It has like it comes up with the warning and goes amber, which generally means you shouldn't do it. It's generally quite a good rule when it comes to planes and things. Right, estimated flight time today is actually 2.5 hours. It's a little bit longer than I thought it would be. But there you go. Well, we've been streaming half hour and we've only just pushed back. Rip. That's my fault. This stream may be going a bit long. Oh well. In fact, they're using the 1.8s down in Memphis. There's another plane taking off. They've got 2 planes taking off at once, which is kind of interesting. That was the one I thought was taking off from 2.7. Actually, they're backtracking. That's a bit of a weird route, but it wasn't down 2.7. Right, we'll keep an eye on what those FedEx planes do.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
If it takes off from 1.8, then we'll switch over to 1.8. The winds are kind of meh. It's actually raining down there right now, but it's 7-0 at 9 knots. So it fits kind of runway 36. It doesn't really matter. Have a good trip. Okay. Newark traffic, Skyway 7581, taxi runway 22 right. Newark traffic. Rip. Right. time to go, and that FedEx has bolted on taking off runway. That is runway 18 right that it's just taken off on. So I don't know what they're doing with Newark. I don't know. Honestly, don't know what they're doing with Memphis. We'll wait until we get in the air to find out any more, I think. Right, parking brakes off, and let's get out of here. Because it does seem like they're doing a bit of everything. Oh, they're saying that the last plane to land, which was 30 minutes ago. In fact, yeah, I think that one that's been on there. Yeah, that one that's been on there has been tracked for ages. I forgot that one. I thought landed on the 36s. That landed 5 hours ago, so we can ignore that. It landed like 4 hours ago, and it's just stayed on the tracking for some reason. So we can safely say ignore that one. So I think we're going to be using the 18s then. Or possibly the 27s, but I doubt we're going to use 27 somehow. Right, we're taxiing down out of Newark then. We're going to make a right turn here, and that puts us... We're still in the we're just sort of exiting onto the proper taxiway areas now. That's going to basically dump us out onto Papa Alpha, which turns into Alpha. But I'd like to go down Bravo, because that's the one that's a little bit closer to us. It's closer to the runway, and then we're going to be going off Whiskey, in accordance with the ATIS. So this is Papa Alpha. We're going to keep going on to Alpha. Which turns it... This is actually Bravo now, I think. It's a taxiway here that doesn't actually exist on the chart, which is kind of interesting. This series is a couple of years old, but it's pretty accurate, I think. It's about maybe 2 years old. It's version 2, so it's not the old version. But never mind, we're on the latest. We're on taxiway Bravo now like we want. It's amazing, it does actually look a lot like Newark Airport though. I mean, I've only ever seen Newark Airport at night, because I landed there literally about 10 at night or something. It was very busy at the time. And then they've got more planes. There's actually a wave of takeoffs happening right now. Down there. Now, okay, so they are using the 18s then, by the looks of it. So I think we're going to be using, well, where are we parking? Because it does seem to depend on where you park sometimes. You know what? We'll sort out where we're going after I take off. We'll sort all that out after. Right, landing lights on, runway turn-offs on, taxi lights off, because we are approaching the runway. Oh, no, we're not. Never mind. I thought we were a little bit closer to the runway than that. I forget how much of a long taxi this one is. It's actually quite a long taxi down there. So we're going all the way down to Whiskey. So that's Golf. Well, it's not in alphabetical order, so don't worry. Don't know why it's not in alphabetical order. It just isn't. But yeah, 2 to right. We're going to be going off. There's the Al back there. It's been online quite a while now, I think. It's been online 37 minutes. I guess they're doing... It's quite a large route to prep, obviously. Very long flight. That, I mean, that's pretty mad. A flight that long. I wouldn't fancy it. It's about 14 hours, I think. Maybe if there was an event on, possibly, but not anything now. I mean, FSX probably wouldn't last that long, to be honest. It'd probably run out of memory. Well, they're saying that the new flight sim would also start lagging, so can't really, you know, compare. And I've been doing a lot of flying on FSX now. I've just gone back to it, and it's actually been very fun. I've had a lot of fun. It reminds me, you know, really, until the PMDG released their 737, and until Aerosoft released their CRJ, and until the fly-by-wire A320 becomes better, that new game is worthless when it comes to airliners. Totally useless at the moment. Hasn't got a bit of use for airliners. Like, I mean, saying that, tropic descent capability is coming in the next update of the fly-by-wire A320 Neo, so I'll make my judgment then, I think. Right, this is Whiskey then. We're coming up on now. Newark traffic, Skyway 7581, takeoff runway 22 right. Right, on to the runway we go. And now, it's time to put on our landing lights. And there we are, we're going to be departing a very dark New York, it's not going to be getting any lighter in Memphis. Memphis are actually an hour behind New York, so it'll only get an hour worth lighter, because even though it's a 2.5 hour flight, that hour time difference, so it'll probably be, right now I think it's like 4:30 in New York, it'll probably be about 5:30 in Memphis when we land. But anyway, right, takeoff power is set, very low power on takeoff today, just to try and conserve. Obviously this plane, as we know, is a bit over the top when it comes to its speed. Right, airspeed's live, start the clock. 80 knots. So look, we're very light, so we're gaining speed like mad, even on 88% power. V1, rotate. V2. Positive right. Gear up. And then the madness of the 777 starts. Right. And there we are, we're in the air. Gonna be slight left turn at first, and then changing that later on. And flaps 1. Autopilot in. Because it's just easiest to put the autopilot in on this thing. That's how quickly it climbs. Right. Runway turn-offs off. And there we go. We are safely in the air. Auto brakes are automatic in this thing. We're restricted to 220 knots until we pass Bagger, so won't worry about that. The next course is going to be 282, so we'll just set that. And flaps up. And as we climb out of the lovely New York, I mean, it's like, look at that. I mean, that's actually quite nice. Like, it's not exactly like horrible looking, is it? I mean, really. Right, 250 knots we'll add up to now, and we'll grab a little look at Memphis. Whoa, a lot of planes have showed up. They've got a takeoff wave down in Memphis now, a FedEx plane. So they're using, the 1.8 for their takeoffs. There's a plane to Portland and a plane to Salt Lake City currently, both taking off now. So they're definitely using the 1.8. So we're going to switch to 1.8 right. ILS. Oh, I forgot, it's looking at Newark again. Why does it do that? Right, 1.8 right, and it's going to be the Bloods 3 with the Bravo Whiskey Golf transition. And that actually massively shortens our flight time, so I'm quite happy with that, really. I mean, insufficient. Oh, I forgot, yeah. This is one thing this is a mistake I made yesterday. When you enter in a new approach, it doesn't delete the old one. So keep that in mind. I hate it. I do really hate it. I wish it didn't do that. As you can see there, look, it's put everything in twice. Which is how nice of it, really, isn't it? So I'm going to try and figure out now. Right, we're passing 10,000, so landing lights off. And yeah, so we're going to try and figure out now what to do. So I think Bravo Whiskey Golf, we'll just put that in place of the old Bravo Whiskey Golf. And that should hopefully overwrite it. There. So yeah, it's just a little bit annoying trying to figure it out. I don't know, the 737 does the same thing. It's really annoying. I don't think it should do it personally, but it does. So that's that, I guess, isn't it? So we'll just check over the procedure later on. Yeah, so it's going to be an ILS 1.8 right, I think. That's kind of makes sense with what they're doing right now. It's what all the planes are taking off. They've got a takeoff wave down in Memphis right now. They're using 1.8 left and 1.8 right. However, 1.8 right is the one that's currently got a queue of 2 planes outside it. So more are definitely using that. But, we climb then. Out of Newark Airport. Initially to flight level 320 to avoid that nasty rain. No, not rain, the jet stream. The very strong wind that would be not helping us get to Memphis in any way, shape or form. But yeah, if we can stick to runway 18, that will really help us. I'll make sure to check my arrival fully over once we're at cruise to make sure I avoid what happened yesterday. Yesterday, it duplicated the arrivals, I didn't notice, and I got caught out. And my top of descent was a bit later than it should have been. So when I put it in, basically, when I put it in, because all I checked was the distance to total descent, and it looked fine. I was 10,000, when I deleted it, I was 10,000 feet above where I should have been. I actually, like, climbed back up to it was fine. I managed to catch up with it, but it's annoying. Because I didn't know the 777 did that, because that's the thing, the 787 deletes the old procedure, I think. The A320 definitely deletes the old procedure. So it does annoy me. It's like, well, why does it not delete it? It's quite obvious. I'm not going to have 2 stars and 2 approaches, am I? That's just how it works. Unfortunately, right. Yeah, they've got a lot of planes taking off now out of Memphis. So that's good. And they're all using 18 right, pretty much. So that's the runway they're using down there. Clearly, sadly, yeah, Live ATC didn't have access to it had access to the tower and the approach, but not the ATIS. Which is a little bit annoying, because the ATIS is the only thing I actually wanted, but there you go. I think we can turn off the logo light now. I don't really ever see the point in having a logo light. But yeah, so we're climbing up to 320 initially. We're only going to be there for a little bit. Really, we're not going to be there for too long, and then it'll be up to 400 quite quickly, really. And we've got no ATC at all, nothing heading for Memphis at all, nothing on the ground there right now either. FedEx has just taken off, going to Paris, FedEx 5022, so that's all fine. So we're doing all good. Climbing upwards, look at that. Climb speed, 4,000 feet per minute. I mean, wow. It's what this plane's like. It's nuts. Now, while it's obviously going to flight level 320 is slower, remember the jet stream, that's why it isn't slower. The jet stream is at its peak around Same and Lima Romeo Papa. That's where the jet stream is. So we'll the bottom of the jet stream is flight level 320, so we shouldn't reach it. Remember, the jet stream is between 320 and 490, with its very peak being 400. That's why we're not going straight up to our cruise altitude today. That's why that's happening. So around there, look, around 80 miles, that's where the jet stream is at its peak, really. Now, we did have the option to go up to 400, descend, and then climb again, but I didn't fancy doing that, because I thought that was a bit pointless, to be honest. Because, well, what's the point in climbing, descending, and then climbing again? It's a waste of fuel and a waste of time. Because it's not even going to be a 320 that long. Maybe, I don't know, 100 miles? Something like that. It's not a massive amount, really. They've just hit max speed, so this thing has just gone absolutely nuts now on the climb rate. As you can see there from our contrail evidence. But yeah, up to 320 now, and we're looking. There you go. Look, there's a lot going from Memphis now, all FedExes. Obviously, that's, you know, we're always going to find cargo hubs, because that's obviously why we're flying there, really, because we are a cargo airplane. So if it's a cargo hub in the US, chances are fly K-serve it, particularly Louisville. Louisville is the base of UPS, but it looks like Memphis is the base of FedEx, and Newark has a lot of FedEx as well. Although Newark isn't really a hub for cargo, not as much anyway. Oh, I'm not using FS 2020 because I like to fly airliners, and at the moment, it's not good enough. If you watch the last stream I did on FS 2020 and discover how it ended, you might know why. But yeah, the airliners in that game are not ready. Simple enough, they're not ready. And this game still looks excellent, and the planes, well, they're great. They're actually like real life. Also, I paid for them. Paid a lot of money for them, so may as well get my worth out of them, right? Right, step climb is at 150 miles, so we're only going to be here for 20 minutes anyway. Alright, I always forget to turn off the seatbelt signs in a cargo plane. I always forget that. I don't get why a cargo plane has seatbelt signs. And I can't see any clouds, but obviously the jet stream there's no evidence of a jet stream, it's wind. not cloud. So, we are going to have a bit of high level cloud later on in the flight, around flight level. Actually, no, that's a bit higher than us, that's fine. So we're alright with that. Just the jet stream we want to be avoiding, really, which is at flight level 400. Right, let's go ahead and check our arrival now. I think they will fix it, yeah. Fly-by-wire, who are doing the A320neo upgrade, that's the most important one. If that's getting quite nice updates at the moment. The reason that bug happened on my stream was because of the physics patch that Asobo did. And I believe on the 14th or 15th of October, there will be an update to the new flight sim. Maybe they'll be fixing some of the physics bugs then. I don't know. It would be nice, but it will get fixed eventually. I just think, give it a year, and FS 2020 will be by far the world's best flight sim. Better than P3D, better than X-Plane, better than this, certainly. But not right now. Just need to wait. Right, I'm just checking my arrival then. So we head in from BWG. Yep, to Axel. Oh, yeah, Harrod, then Axel, which is 290 above flight level 240, that's fine. And then Speaker, 290, below 230 above 140, that's fine. And then Bluz, below 230, 280 knots. And then we head to Copen. And then from Copen, it is vectors to the ILS. So we'll have a look at that. So it's vectors to... Well, we're going to Braille, but I think we could actually go to McVeigh and Dawson if we want as well. It actually starts at McVeigh. So, I don't understand why we're not doing the full thing, really. I need to actually change what we're doing on here as well. So, ILS 18 right we're doing. 18 right. And we'll say the Dawson... We'll go... Actually, do we need the full thing or not? Oh, yeah. I don't know, Flight Sim X for a lot of people doesn't work. I don't know why. I still want to download it, and then it wouldn't start for some reason for them. Couldn't fix it, but it's like, why? It's a little bit odd, right? I don't know what we're going to do about this ILS approach then. So the ILS starts... No, I don't need to go all the way to Dawson, do we? I mean, the glide slope doesn't start till Elvis, so it gives us time to capture the glide slope anyway. So we don't need to be at McVeigh, which is a bit easier. So we'll just do... And we'll go from Braille direct... Copen direct to Braille, because obviously we're not going to be having vectors. It's one thing that I do kind of not get about the procedures of ATC in the US. It's like, they actually require vectors. Like, doesn't that make ATC's job a bit harder? The joystick, yeah, the joystick is quite cool on FSX. Right now I'm using my yoke, because I'm on the streaming PC that has the yoke. But yeah, it's cool, definitely. The joystick, particularly for Airbus planes, is excellent. I've had no problem flying the 737 with it either. They're the only two I've been able to test out, but they're all pretty good. We're getting jumped around a little bit. Yeah, you can see there, very strong wind. The wind would have been even stronger if we had gone up to flight level 400, right up there. That's where the jet stream is, so you can see, yeah, apparently about 130 knot wind looking at the charts. It would have been up there, obviously a little bit too high for us, really. Not ideal, and it would have been a headwind as well, so definitely not ideal. That's why we're staying down here for now, because it's quicker. But even up here, we're getting bumped around a little bit. That's just the US, and the US does have some slightly more crazy conditions than Europe when it comes to in the sky. Generally, it is a little bit worse. Yeah, I find the sensitivity is terrible in the new flight sim. The worst one for me is the A320. Like, I can push my joystick or yoke halfway, nothing happens. Like almost nothing happens. A little bit further, everything happens, and the plane crashes. And no matter what I do with my... I've actually checked my sensitivity axes, and it isn't that. So it is... Unfortunately, it's a little bit... It's slightly better with the joystick, I think, than the yoke. But either way, it's still pretty bad. They need tweaking. The general aviation planes are actually not bad. The only plane, in my opinion, the plane that is the most good, that is the most finished, is the TBM 930. If every plane in the new flight sim was like that, it'd be good. It'd be a good game. But sadly, they're not all the same quality. Like, in the TBM, every button is clickable. The flight model's really good, the autopilot's really good. It even has a basic VNAV system if you use the default ATC. And it's like, well, hang a minute, they can put this much stuff into a TBM 930, and they didn't do it to any other plane. It's like, why not? Have they got a reason? Like, why didn't they? But never mind, that's just how that is, really, isn't it? Our true airspeed's going all over the place. Well, our ground speed's maintaining pretty steady at the moment. Yeah, just 390 knots. We're going very slowly at the moment. If we were heading the other way right now, this flight would probably be about 20 minutes quicker. It's that crazy. They're still using the 1.8s down in Memphis, so that's good. Got a lot of flights heading off, so that kind of yeah, they're still using the 1.8s then. Now the weather in again the US is only updated. Oh, actually no, it's updated half hourly in Memphis. The wind's currently 110 at 9 knots. Altimeter 29085. 20 degrees. Not the greatest of visibility. It's overcast at 700 feet right now. Only 7 visibility, not 10 plus. Yeah, ACC I use a wheel. I use the Logitech G920. It's the one I have on my the same PC I have as the joystick. That one is a little bit broken. It's a little bit old, so the throttle pedal's a bit old and things, and it is getting a little bit worse for wear, but it's not too bad. On this PC, I actually got really lucky with my Logitech. I only ever bought one, and then what happened was it broke. But because it was within, so we went out and bought another one, and then because it was within 3 years of me getting it, Logitech sent me another one. So I've got 2 now. Which is really good. It's kind of interesting, that. Logitech's warranty policy is great. They're like, I think it's within 2 years or something. If your product breaks, they'll just send you another one. They're like, here you go. £300 wheel, yeah, we'll just send you another one. Just casual. It's quite cool. So, that was nice. Our plane has been bounced around everywhere. I did have a look at the Fanatec wheels, because I know they have better force feedback and things, but wow. Like, they're so expensive, no chance. It's a shame. You have to buy a wheel and a wheelbase to get, like, the sort of ultimate stuff. It's like, wow. Wow, this, I can see why we avoided this, right now, where we are right now, the jet stream is just up there, passing direct, is that a jet stream? Those clouds look suspiciously like where the jet stream was. I'm not sure whether that's simulating a jet stream or not, but, yeah, I mean, if I look at active skyline down on the map, I'm wondering if I'll see anything marked. Can't really see much at the moment. No, whatever. Yeah, I can't really see much on active sky at the moment, but it doesn't show stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. This weather, maybe not the best of weather, is it? I don't think so. It bounced around all over the place. We are going to be climbing soon. They go 80 miles, look. So 80 miles from now, we're going to be climbing. And then we can maybe it'll be a bit less bumpy after we pass the jet stream. Maybe the weather will calm down. We'll certainly be going quicker if we climb a little bit. Our max speed will increase. So obviously our overall speed will increase no matter what the wind is. Although still we're going very slowly. We should be doing about 470 knots. We're doing 400. Thanks to this weather. Right, let's have a little look at our arrival into, there you go. It's a very nice arrival look, so I'm glad I didn't choose the transition. That puts us in a really perfect sort of move on to the ILS, so that's really good. There's a few restrictions, obviously, landing at Memphis, like altitude-wise and things. More planes departing. Yeah, they're using 2 different runways at Memphis, depending on which direction the planes are coming from. There's no planes landing at the moment in Memphis. That's just because I think they've got a wave at the moment, FedEx, of planes departing. That's what's going on. So the next scheduled arrival, there's a plane coming in from Anchorage in an hour and a half. So, yeah, there's not really any planes anywhere about the place really. That the next landing plane is scheduled to arrive about 5 a.m. So they've got a bit of a wave of departures at the moment down there. So I think we should be alright. Obviously, it's a shame I didn't get 80s from that live ATC thing, but still. Bit of turbulence there. The plane's actually lost a bit of speed with this turbulence. I don't know. Our plane's lost 20 knots worth of true airspeed, so I think the turbulence is freaking out the autothrottle just a touch. Yeah, it's getting it back now. We're being rocked around a lot though. Look at that wing flex. There's nothing on our weather radar though. Despite it being set to weather and turbulence. There's nothing on here. I mean, I guess there's no clouds or anything. It doesn't pick up clouds, the weather radar? And the turbulence, like I think it picks up like water and things. That's what it actually shows you. We have now passed the worst of the jet stream. Obviously, Simba didn't want us to be climbing until MRB. I don't quite know why, but that's the decision it made, so I'm going to follow it. Just makes more sense, doesn't it? But yeah, we are going quite slowly thanks to this wind. Imagine if we were going the other way right now, we'd be going so quickly. Sadly, we're not going the other way, so we're not going quickly. It's kind of how it is, isn't it, really? Cruising along. Quite nicely, really. We're doing pretty good. Wow, it's busy down in Memphis right now. There's a lot of planes. And what they're doing, I think all the planes departing to the east are using the left runway, and the ones departing to the west are using the right runway. It seems as if that's what they're doing right now. But none of them are using runway 27. They're only using 18 left and right. They're not using any others. So we're going to land on 18 right. It is actually slightly longer than 18 left as well. They might be using 18 centre. I don't think they are using left. Centre and left are really close together. And then we're going to be quite a long taxi actually, because the FedEx ramp is on the other kind of end of the airfield. It's the passenger terminal that's by the other bit. So we want to vacate, and then we're going to taxi all the way down Mike or November, and then all the way in that way. It's a bit of a long journey, really. But there's no taxi, there's no like charts as to what the parking gates are. So I don't know why this is, but in America they don't seem to mark out the taxi gates. If there are certain, like, what do you call it? If there are cargo gates, they're just specialist cargo ramps. They don't have gate numbers. I don't know whether it's like that in real life, whether, I mean, maybe the ATC just tells us to taxi to the ramp, I don't know. You can see there, the wind is actually still quite strong, but we should be able to climb up to flight level 400 now in about, 8 minutes. 8 minutes to do 48 miles. Yeah, that kind of shows how slow we are, doesn't it? ETA at the moment is 11:38 my time, 10:38 in game. However, the game is actually, this must have been all the swapping round I did. Planes. My game is actually now 5 minutes behind real world time, so I didn't notice that. Okay. Oh well. That's that then. But yeah, the wind is having a massive effect on today's flight. Like, to give you an example, so right now, 850 miles is how much we're actually flying. But when you consider the wind, it's like we're flying 1,050. So the wind basically piles an extra 200 miles onto our flight. Like, effectively, you know, like... To say there was no wind, and we had this wind, with no wind we could fly 200 miles further, basically, in the time. It's kind of nuts. Probably one of the strongest winds I've ever had. Obviously, going in this direction over the US, obviously, it being New York, we're actually quite close to the Atlantic, so it's kind of leading off from that in the other direction. You just get very bad wind. It's like how when you fly one way over the Atlantic, you have a 9-hour flight, and the other way over the Atlantic, you can get as low as a 5.5. It's between, I think 7.5, 8 is the average there, and about 6 is the average back, but it depending on the weather, it can change. I think when I did it, it was in real life, when I went to New York, it was 8 hours there, I think, and I think it's about 6.5 back, something like that. It's noticeable, that's for certain. Right, in 34 miles time, we will be climbing. Now, the wind speed hasn't died down yet, but I'll have a look at the weather chart now. I'm expecting it to, well, we're expecting the weather to be slightly, actually, it's going to be still pretty strong, actually, even when we climb again. It's still going to be about, probably, it's going to be minus 55, and it's going to be, oh, how to do autopilot, yeah, if you want. What plane? And what game, I guess. But yeah, if there's, what's like a tutorial on how to work the autopilot, I'd be happy to do that for, I mean, maybe, no, I would be happy to do more tutorials. If you guys want tutorials, then, about how to fly a plane and things, I know I haven't done any, but I could easily do that. Yeah, looking at the wind, it's going to be, right now it's about 85 knots is the estimate. Yeah, that's correct. And it's going to be about 95 knots when we climb. So obviously we're only going to have 10 knots extra of wind, but we're probably going to be doing more than 10 knots on the speed. So the speed will increase a little bit, although it's still quite a strong wind. Wow, there's a lot of FedEx planes departing Memphis right now. Guess that kind of seals what runway we're using, doesn't it? NFS 2020, yeah, sure. I can give it a go. Now, I mean, in the A320, Neo at the moment, and other planes, the autopilot is dodgy. So, you know, if you want to watch some of my streams to kind of show how dodgy it is, the last stream I did on Flight Sim with the A320 Neo kind of stick right to the end and see how it ended, basically. Kind of sums up how bugged the autopilot is and how bugged the physics are in that game at the moment. So I'm not going to be playing that game until the next physics patch comes out, which I'm hoping will come next week. But maybe then, yeah. Because that game at the moment is pretty much unplayable when it comes to the airliner side of things. At the moment, it's getting improved, right? 19 miles to step climb. I think we can just climb now, really. We're past the jet stream. So I think we'll dial it up and then see what the plane wants to do. We'll let the plane decide. I'm not sure whether the plane will wait or whether the plane will just climb immediately. I don't know. Being bumped around a lot, that's for certain. Looks like the plane's waiting to pass the step climb point. Fair enough. That'll step up our speed look from Mach 7.8 to Mach 8.3, and it'll only be 10 extra knots of headwind, so it's easily worth it. So that should be good. Yeah, no problem. I'll tell you as soon as the physics patch. Maybe I'll do one before the physics patch and see what happens. with the fly-by-wire 8020 Neo. I'll do a little see what happens kind of thing, little short flight or something maybe. Don't know. Little tutorial on the autopilot. If I get time, I might be able to edit it. Maybe. Possibly. Right, 10 miles to our step climb. I think we're just going to step climb now, really, aren't we? You know what, I'm not going to, because that may break the step climb logic of this plane. I'm just going to wait. Sometimes you can get a step climb that's like sort of stuck, and it confuses the plane. And we need to wait until we get a certain amount. This plane still needs for landing in Newark. You need to get a certain distance away from your airport before the game recognises where you're actually landing. And then I can start doing the approach stuff, the approach speeds, and all the rest of it. Now, the ILS frequencies in this plane are automatically tuned, so the only work that I need to do is entering in the decision height and the landing speed, so they're the only things I need to do. Everything else is automatic. In the 777, yeah, there's a lot of FedEx planes departing. That's mad. I just think that's absolutely crazy. There's like a queue of about 5 planes right now looking to depart off runway 18 right now. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of shows what the active runway is, doesn't it? Right, just coming up to Martinsburg now, so that means we can go ahead and climb up to our final cruise level today. And we'll be there until it comes the time when we need to descend. So we're climbing 8,000 feet, so it's quite a bit to climb. I'm expecting the wind to get stronger by about 10 knots, so we'll keep an eye on our speed. Right now we're doing 390 knots ground speed. We'll see what we're doing afterwards, with the wind obviously taken into account and all the rest of it. There you go, we've just passed the point now, so we should, the plane should just start to step climb. Actually, I need to click the button, don't I? I always forget that. You need to click the button in the plane. There you go, it's now on to climb mode. Probably would have clicked step climbed earlier then if I'd clicked it. I forget. Right, I hope you enjoyed the stream, by the way. Obviously. Thank you for subbing as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Right, up we go then. To our next flight level. Is this thing going to start? I think this thing is trying to increase the speed and then climb. Which is kind of interesting. But there we go. So you can see there straight away. Look, the speed's already picked up by 5 knots. So we'll see what happens here. Obviously, Simbrief recommended climbing at this exact point. So we'll see what happens. Whether it was a good decision or not, who knows? Because you can see already the wind's picked up by 10 knots, so the wind is actually getting very strong. However, our ground speed has actually picked up by 20 knots at the moment. I'll keep an eye on it as we climb, I guess. Well, there you go. As our max speed decreases, look, this thing just does a crazy climb. I guess, why not? The thing is that the wind has picked up a lot, more than I expected, so I'm a bit worried about it being actually slower. If we... Wait, what's that there that's just shown up? Why is that thing shown up? And why is that in that colour? Right, we'll do a recall check, just make sure that the plane is actually functioning. I don't think I've got failures turned on. No, we're good. I don't know what that thing's shown up. Unless it was already there. I just didn't notice it. Right, the wind has really picked up, unfortunately, so climbing has actually kind of made it slower by about 15 knots. I'm not going to descend again, because that's silly. Hopefully, by the time we get up to 400, the wind will die down again. Obviously, we're at 380 now, not 39. Not. So it's not quite the forecast that, obviously, you know, I mean, one flight level makes a massive difference. So, we'll just have to see, I guess, won't we? Oh, there you go, that's gone now. I don't know why that showed up. Made me worried then. Who knows? Right, so we've lost about 10 knots by the looks of it. Because our true airspeed's increased, which has kind of helped the ground speed, but then the wind has increased about 20 knots more than I thought it would, and more than Simbury thought it would, so... don't know, really, because if you look at the route, if you look at the wind data we had, it shows about 93 knots. That's at flight level 350, though, so it should go higher than that. It doesn't. Actually, no, there you go, the wind was at 116 knots. It's actually started dying down now, look, a little bit, as we climb a bit higher. So maybe, so you can see there, look, it's dropped 4 knots. I mean, it's only 4 knots, but that's 4 knots extra speed. So actually, yeah, it does appear that the wind is slightly lower up here. 5 knots, 6 knots. So 6 knots lower, it looks like, the wind, than it was when we were climbing up previously. Don't know whether that'll decrease. So actually we haven't really lost any speed, but we haven't gained any speed. There we go, look, the wind's now got 109 knots, so the wind has decreased by about 7, so it's slightly higher than I thought still, but it's a bit better than expected. We're still doing 390 knots ground speed, so it hasn't actually affected our speed at all, really. We're going 4 knots slower, which over an hour will not affect us at all, really. That's the case of like 8 miles over an hour. No, over 2 hours, I mean. So over the whole flight, that'll cost us 8 miles, which is not really anything to think about, is it? Very busy down in Memphis right now. All those planes. Yeah, we should be good. And we should be descending. Okay, our descent still is on there. It's on that page. We've got some long altitude waypoints though, so probably there now for the rest of the flight. Quite a bit. Obviously, you know, the thing is, even though it doesn't look like we have that long to go, only 600 miles, we're going very slowly. We've only done 230 miles in 36 minutes. Thanks to this lovely weather. It's pain, this weather. Absolute pain. We have about an hour and a half left to go. Looking like no ATC at the moment, unfortunately, but oh well. Quite rare. I mean, literally nowhere in the US right now, not a single place has ATC. It's a shame. That happens, and then meanwhile in Europe, they have French control, Munich radar, Switzerland radar, Gatwick ground, Heathrow Tower, so maybe it would have been a better idea to just stay within the UK and Europe, I think. I think that's where we'll stay from now on. It's a shame, really, because it's like, I like to go to the US, because there's a lot of kind of unique routes, and there's a lot of cargo stuff over here, that Fly UK do, and it's quite nice. There's some nice length routes. The procedures are a little bit different to over in Europe, but because of the time that I do flying, there's never anything there. I mean, right now in Memphis, it is, I get, what, 4 AM maybe? Yeah, 4 AM in Memphis. So it'll be 5 AM when we land. I mean, so it'll still be dark, like, and all the locals who'll be doing Memphis controlling won't be awake. They'll be asleep. I mean, what's Memphis's sunrise time? Today is 7 AM, so it's still going to be very dark. It's still going to be pitch black when we land in Memphis, but I guess it doesn't really matter. There's a few high-level clouds over there. Wind has stayed at 109 knots. So yeah, speed is basically the same no matter what altitude we're at then. Because the wind picked up. There's no turbulence anymore though. Now we're at this higher level, the turbulence is all gone, which is nice. It's not, I mean, I would say it's not as bumpy for the passengers, but obviously, what passengers? There's no passengers back there. No passengers, just 28,000 kilograms of cargo. I'm not 100% sure what the cargo is. I've got no clue what the cargo is. It's something. It's just cargo. Stuff. It's just stuff. Very dark out there, isn't it? Look at it. Very dark. A few cities down there. It's kind of weird as well. Fly UK Cargo still have the old Fly UK livery, the new Union Spirit livery. They haven't adopted the new Crystal livery, which is a bit interesting, I think. It's kind of, you know, the rest of the fleet obviously having switched to the new livery. They haven't done that for this particular one. A lot of FedEx flights around the place. I mean, it's kind of nice as well. I would like to do more cargo flying because of the variety of planes. I mean, like, FedEx have A300s, MD-11s. It's just a shame as well. There's no decent A300 for FSX. I don't think there's a decent MD-11. I can check, but I don't think there is one. Is there? Oh, the MD-11 V2 on Aerosoft. Is that an Aerosoft project? Oh, the Sky Simulations MD-11. Well, it's €50, so it's probably decent. It's kind of interesting, really. You can always tell what the quality of planes are like in FSX from the price. I know it sounds weird, but you can often. Although I don't know, the screenshots don't look 100%, so maybe not. I don't know. However, it is quite a new add-on, so it'd probably be alright. Just don't know. Looks alright. It doesn't look the best of quality, to be honest. But yeah, there's not a lot. I mean, like, there isn't a A300 that's decent. There's like one that's like really cheap and looks really terrible. And then 767, I don't think there's a 767 for FSX. There isn't really a 757 either. There's the Captain Sim, which Fly UK for whatever reason don't do liveries for. And then the Quality Wings, which is rubbish. The Quality Wings is really old. It's like, I think Quality Wings is first plane. So, it's not very good. So, yeah. But yeah, I like flying the 777. It's a nice plane. And actually, next month, beginning of November, they are actually having fleet restructuring at Fly UK, and some of the 787-8s are going over to Topa Sky, the 9s are going over to the mainstream flying. So some of the routes we can do in the Quality Wing 787 are probably going to change. And what with the restructuring, maybe we'll see some more 777 short routes, I don't know. It'd be nice. But we could potentially have stuff like that, so that'd be quite cool. But a small right turn, and that's decreased another 10 knots off our speed. Funny. This weather is not good, is it? We've got an hour and a half left to run. We've only flown 270 miles. I mean, listen, I was planning on this flight taking 2 hours. It's estimated to take 2.5. I think it was 2 hours 22 we're given, yeah, as the estimate. Just thanks to wind, that's the only reason. Wind. If it wasn't for wind, we'd be absolutely fine. Looking at... Honestly, I do wonder, looking at this, how there are any planes left to depart Memphis. Like, the amount of FedExes that are leaving right now, I don't imagine there even being any more. Like, how are there enough planes? Like, how many parcels are there? How long till landing? Well, hour and a half. Sorry about that. It's, yeah, a longer flight than I thought it would be. By about half hour at least. But yeah, we've got a good hour and a half. Hour and 25 minutes now. Hour and 25 until we touch down, so... Yeah, I mean, I guess we can just sort of settle back. It's because of the wind. If the wind was nice, we'd be probably finishing this flight a good half hour earlier. So that's kind of that, really. It's not going to get light, though. It's going to stay dark. I'm hoping the weather will improve, although looking at the weather charts, it's looking like it's not really going to get any lower, the wind. It's looking like it's going to stay about the same. This quite bad weather. Not bad, just... Basically, it's annoying for the direction we're travelling in. If we were going in the other direction, we'd be probably doing this flight almost an hour quicker. So, it's just... I'm not sure whether it's always like this, or whether it's just the weather we picked today, but... Yeah, that's kind of how it is, really. I still can't set up for the arrival, though, because this plane still doesn't recognise that we're landing in... I don't know, there's a certain trigger, I don't know what it is, but suddenly you get to find your top of descent, and you get to find out what your destination approach speeds are, and it just suddenly triggers. I don't know what triggers it, but something does. I don't know whether it's like a distance to the arrival or what. I'll have to try and keep an eye on it and see when it changes, see if I can point it to anything. Now they're using a lot of 1.8 left in Memphis. I think it does depend on the direction that the plane is going in. I think it seems to, and they've still got plenty using the other ones as well. I just think it's nuts, really. It's like, you know, as I said, how many packages could there be? You know, like, seriously, how many packages need to be delivered? You don't have that in the UK though. It is more of a US thing, but it's like, what? How many packages? Like, each of those planes is full of cargo. And they're not small planes either. They're MD-11s, 777s, 767s, A300s. They're not small. And meanwhile, there's no arrivals. So how many planes have they got? You know, like, the next arrival is not for 50 minutes in Memphis. It's mad. They've got a pretty insane amount of departures right now. Got a little bit of weather off to our left. I can't see any cloud. Oh, rip, I just moved by accident. There. Looking quite nice outside. Have a look at that view there, I guess. There. Weirdly, that's not good. Our, what's it called? Our overlay actually thinks we're going to be in Memphis later than the plane. That's a bit unusual. Obviously, that's doing it based on our speed. Okay, so the problem is as well, the ETA we've been given by the plane isn't quite as accurate because the route data put in by SimBrief is slightly wrong. Ideally, I'd want data for flight level 400, but it hasn't done that. It hasn't put that in. I don't really know why, it just hasn't. There's a queue of like 10 planes now in total, if you count the 2 runways in Memphis of just FedEx planes. So I'm obviously checking flight radar to make sure we're using the right runway, and it's like very funny. Right, especially when we've got some new weather as well. The last weather report from Memphis was rather horrible, and there is a new one, but it's still horrible. It's still, the weather seems to be randomly refreshing at Memphis every like 20 minutes or so. It seems a bit random, but yeah, 70 at 8 knots is the wind. So the wind's not too bad. It's overcast at 700 feet though. Wow. Overcast at 700 feet. That's not what I want to hear, really, is it? Not what I want to hear. But that's what's going on, so oh well. The amount of planes right now in Memphis is actually insane, I think. But there you go. So I don't get how there's that much cargo, I don't. Right, we've just passed Perks, 50 minutes into the flight. This is our time check. It's kind of ideal we do one now, isn't it, really? Okay, we're actually 2 minutes ahead of schedule, according to Sim Brief. I don't think that's true. That probably means we saved 2 minutes by being at a lower altitude the whole time, honestly. Because Sim Brief still recommended us going up to 400, then down, then up again. Because I think its weather reports were slightly false. Although, yeah, the weather's actually gone down a knot. Not that 1 knot really makes a difference. Still going very slowly. 380 knots ground speed, something like that. It is very cloudy down there, so I can kind of see how it's so cloudy when we get to Memphis, finally. We're still quite far away, actually. We've still got 500 miles. It's crawling by, this flight, really. Because of, well, the wind, really. The wind makes it seem a lot slower than it actually is, I think. I don't know why, but it just always feels like that. Whenever you get strong wind, it always feels like the flight just takes longer. I don't know why. But it's noticeable. Definitely noticeable. I was kind of hoping it'd get light, but I don't think it will. Honestly, I don't think it will get light at all, or even a little bit light on today's flight. So that's kind of that, isn't it? That's what the inside looks like. Just lots of cargo. There is a cargo along this entire row, as you can see, but we're inside the textures, so that's what's happening. Cool. Yeah, it's all going pretty chill, really. It's just, yeah, that's kind of it. There's no bit of weather coming up. It's only green. There was, I believe, a little bit of significant weather still on our flight. There's a few clouds. That's not until way later, though. And that's only about, I'm actually there at a level of 530 and 480. 480 is the level of that cloud, so there's we're going to be going under some cloud, I think, but no issue there. So yeah, that weather's not enough to be marked as significant weather. There's a little bit of weather as well that's again flight level 480, a little bit of wind maybe, but nothing really mad about it. So we're doing alright at the moment. That plane is now taken off from Newark, the the LL plane. It's so mad that's a long flight, like really long. According to this, it's ETA. It's going to be 7:43 Zulu. It's now 9:30 Zulu. That's ages. It's just absolutely ages. Why? Just why? There's no planes heading for Memphis right now, so we've got that to our south. It's kind of nice. We're doing pretty good at the moment, so just chilling. Still 109. Oh, rip! I accidentally right-clicked. Just right-click again. Make sure the mouse yoke is turned off. Yeah. In the area, there's no airports really in the area, nothing ever around here. Getting really good FPS as well in this game. At the moment I'm only getting 30 FPS, that's because I'm streaming. I don't know why, but this game has a massive impact when I stream. No other game has that big an impact. Like when I stop streaming, I get like 50 FPS and I'm getting 30, 40 now. Like it's worth at least 10 FPS, I don't know why. I flew the same plane yesterday, so it's not the plane. It's weird though, because the recording software only uses like 7% of my processor, so I don't get what's going on. Although if I don't move the camera, that does pick up to about 45 FPS. So, but obviously not moving the camera is kind of a problem in itself. Although it does mean that when you're flying, I'm still getting 45 FPS because obviously when I'm flying the plane, landing, taking off, I'm not moving the camera, so that's fine. Looking nice though. Currently flying over Kentucky right now, so we've headed over New Jersey, then Kentucky. Memphis is in Tennessee, so that's where we'll be ending today. Memphis is still just as crazy. There's slightly less planes now, but it's still not exactly calmed down there. They're still using the 1.8 at the moment, which is fine. Weather has not updated since last look. Yeah, 700 feet overcast. That's not what I want to be seeing really. And I think yeah, look, under 500 miles. Look, there's our top of descent. Top of descent is 140 miles out of Memphis. That's perfect. That's exactly what I'd expect. Let's just check again. After yesterday, I can't be too careful about making sure that our descent and our arrival is actually correct. So I want to really make sure. Yeah, it's good. We haven't got anything duplicated. We're good. Alright, so now we can start planning for our arrival then. So, I know I'm using the ILS 1.8 right. Nothing really to note about it. The arrival, we've already checked the restrictions. We checked them earlier. Transition altitude is 180, as it is everywhere else in the US. We'll just check that is inputted in. It should be. If I go VNAV, descent, and then forecast, we see there flight level 180, that's fine. Everything's fine. Doing alright at the moment. And the arrival, the first bit of the arrival's looking fine. All restrictions. Right, now onto the ILS, this is kind of the important bit. Our minimums of 200 feet above the ground, which means that 700 feet overcast is not a problem, because our decision height is 500 feet in total. So, that's the wrong one. 500 feet 495. So I hate the scroll wheel. There you go. 495. So 200 feet above the ground, and then our landing speed will be still 137. Oh, that thing's still landing in Newark. Okay, so that part of it hasn't updated, so we can't do that part of the landing because it means the landing speed will be wrong. So we can't do that yet. It's really weird. Like, you click on it still takes me to Newark. I don't get it. I really don't. Like, why does it think I'm landing in Newark for? Never mind. I thought I'd lost my route and I accidentally clicked on. I was clicking on route 2 to see what I was doing. Well, to wonder like what. So obviously in the Airbus there's like a second route, like a second flight plan you can enter for diversions and things. That's what. But I thought I'd lost it then. I was like, what? And then yeah, we're all good. Don't worry. But I just plan to pass HVQ, which stands for Charleston. Wait, how does HVQ stand for Charleston? I would never ever guess that in my life. Oh well, that's right confusing, isn't it? Anyway, that's just that, I guess. Right, let's check, do a time check. 1 hour and 2 minutes. We were 2 minutes ahead, and we're still 2 minutes ahead, so that's really good. But so currently 2 hours and 2 minutes ahead of plan. Which is good to see. Next waypoint is Spade. Only 450 miles to go. Only. So we're almost halfway. In about 30 miles we'll be halfway. So I think we might be able to do this flight slightly quicker than the 2 hours and 20 planned. So in game time we took off at 08:29. Looking at the clock, 08:29. So 2 hours from then is 10:29, and then add 10 minutes, 2 hours and 10, so 2 hours and 12 is what we're getting as the estimate from this plane. We actually descended in 45 minutes, so not long until we have to descend then. Not too bad. And we have actually slightly turned left now as well, so that slight turn gives an extra 5 knots. Actually, maybe there wasn't really much of a turn, but actually, the weather has died down another 5 knots. It was 109 knots, it's now 104, so it's slowly creeping down the wind speed. Obviously, that's good. We want it to keep going down if it is possible. Probably, it might not be possible, obviously. Got 92 miles as the gap to the next waypoint after Spade. That's the longest gap we're going to have without a waypoint today. So that's kind of interesting. I'm just going to go in a straight line. Hopefully the wind does start to die down a little bit. Obviously I'm always watching the weather down in Memphis because of the low cloud, but we should be alright. There's still a massive queue of FedEx planes down in Memphis, all using the same runways that I'm using today. So that's good. I mean, I'll say it again. I've said it multiple times, I'll say it again. Yeah, how many packages on those FedEx planes? It's mad. Like, it's just mad. I don't get it. It's kind of crazy in a way. It is starting to die down now, like, but it's just mad how many planes there are. It's like, I say in the UK, even the East Midlands, which is probably our biggest one of the biggest cargo hubs, specifically used for cargo, it's not that busy. I mean, I guess the US, I mean, saying that, it's only the cargo probably for one state that. I mean, it's not just Memphis. That's the thing. There's Louisville for UPS, and really, I mean, I think obviously Newark, where we're taking off from, that had a FedEx ramp. Miami, where I was taking off from yesterday, that has a FedEx ramp on it as well. It's kind of crazy. I think Memphis might be their hub, possibly. Right, 420 miles left to run then, so we're about halfway now. We're pretty close to halfway. That's kind of nice. Obviously all our lights turned on. Looking good. And a nice liveried 777. Very nice livery. The new Union Spirit livery that isn't the new livery anymore. That's just the name of it, New Union Spirit. Yeah, it's doing alright at the moment. A little bit of weather there. That weather that was straight in front of us has actually disappeared now, so I guess that's kind of good, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, yeah, assuming maybe it isn't the best in this old flight sim, like on the ground, but yeah, it's actually so cloudy that you can very barely see the ground at the moment, and it's quite frequent. And weirdly, so members have like weather at 9:10 my time, weather at 9:30, weather at 5 to 10, and it hasn't had weather since. And it's 10:45. So they had 3 weather within an hour, and then they haven't had any weather since. It's so weird. How does that work? But seriously, how does that make any sense? Hello? In the chat. Hope everyone is enjoying the stream, of course. Been very good actually. We've had 28 clicks on the stream so far today. 1 like as well, thank you for that, whoever that was. And I've also had a new subscription, so that's good. Hope everyone, of course, likes the content, obviously. 70 miles to the next waypoint. Wind still hasn't died down now, so we just have to sort of sit with that, I guess. Wind direction has actually been changing to make it slightly more of a headwind again. It was more like 285, 290 knots on the heading of the wind. It's now 279, so it's kind of gone back towards us a little bit. No ATC at the moment. We're the only plane heading for Memphis, so we're going to have Memphis Airport totally to ourselves when we do get there. Oh, look, just go onto the wing view as soon as there's a little bit of turbulence. That was good timing. Suddenly loads of turbulence now. Great. Great. Lovely amount of turbulence. Being chucked around a lot, aren't we? All of a sudden. Yeah, that wind, I don't know, that wind has started again, dying down. Whoa, the wind is just, was there an active sky update on the wind? I think Active Sky has had an update on the wind, because the wind suddenly went down by like 10 knots, and then our plane suddenly realised it was going too slowly. So that must have been an Active Sky update, I think. Obviously, they happen every couple of minutes, so it's got to be expected. Everything, it's every 5 minutes Active Sky has a weather update. There is an option that it tells you whenever it does a weather update, but I drove me nuts because I got a notification inside the game every 5 minutes, which I didn't like, so I decided to abandon that. We got the ATC, the default ATC there inside FSX. See what it's thinking. But yeah, okay, so Memphis is starting to die down now a little bit. There are less planes in the area. Maybe all the cargo's left by now. So, but I mean, obviously, it doesn't really matter wherever they are anyway. But yeah, it's currently 4:40 down in Memphis right now. So I don't know. We might get lucky. It'll probably be about 5:40 when we get to Memphis. Now, dawn, which is when the sun first starts rising, is 6:37. So I don't think it's going to be. I think it'll still be dark when we get to Memphis. I'm pretty sure it might just be light. Like just be getting light, but I think it'll. Yeah, it's mostly dark. If we were in New York, it'd probably be just getting. If we were going the other way, it'd probably be just getting light. But because we're going this way around, that probably won't happen. So, but yeah, it's nice that the weather suddenly changed to be a lot less strong. It's kind of made us go about 15 knots quicker, 10 knots quicker really. So that's kind of nice. But that's happened. It is good. Yeah, no ATC unfortunately. So it would have been nice, but as I said, it's quite rare in the US on Vatsim at this time of day. Oh, there you go. It now knows we're landing in Memphis, so it's adjusted the speeds. Great. So there's our landing speed. Oh, rip. I just accidentally deployed flaps 1 there. I knocked the thing with... Actually, no, I deployed the speed brakes. I knocked it with my hand then. So yeah, 136 knots we're going to be landing, so quite a low landing speed actually. Very low. It's quite a short runway, so we're going to do flat. We're going to do all brakes 2, I think. So I'll just set that now. I guess it doesn't really matter. We're descending in half an hour now, so we've still got a little bit of a way to go. Now the descent profile might be slightly weird because of the restrictions. Unlike the Dreamliner, where we can actually see what the plane's going to do on our descent, we can't do that. It's only the Dreamliner that has that. The vertical profile display, whatever it's called, that it has. Quite cool. Because obviously remember, there are a lot of restrictions above this altitude then, below this altitude here, below there. There's a lot of... I don't think the restrictions are really going to affect us, which is okay. Consider we're going to pass Copen at 10,000. Is that a restriction at Copen? I didn't think there was a restriction. Yes, there is. And 230 knots. So again, you know, it does kind of mean... It does kind of change what we have to do. But I think we'll be alright. I think we should be fine. They're cruising along quite nice right now. Hopefully the wind will continue to die down then. Obviously that weather update was quite nice. Just suddenly had the weather drop off by about 10 knots. Allows us to go a little bit quicker. It'd be nice if we still went a little bit quicker, wouldn't it? But never mind. We're not that far from Memphis now, just 350 miles. I said only half hour until we descend, so it's nice. We are slowly getting closer to Memphis. Chewing up those miles. Got a little bit of weather there off to the left. That may disappear by the time we get to it, I don't know. Or keep an eye on that. Definitely, obviously. Definitely keep an eye on it. Oh, there's planes spotted on the ground in Memphis. A FedEx going to Boston. Okay. See what's going on with that then. Well, I'll probably be gone by the time we get down there, to be honest. It's a A300, nice. Heading to Boston. It's basically back in the direction that we're coming from. We're coming from New York, obviously. Boston's slightly further up than New York, so slightly further away from Memphis than New York is. Not a lot though. It's nice to see Memphis clearing out now. It's always busy down there. Last of the planes departing, I guess. Good timing, because there's one approaching. The FedEx from Louisville is actually now on approach, so... There you go, one arrives and then stuff starts landing. Not quite, the one from Louisville's early, I think. I don't know, it is kind of interesting. You can almost like plane spot, but on the flight radar. It's like... It's quite like, if I wanted to, I could also boot up live ATC and hear what's going on. Which would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Sorry if it went a bit quiet then. Had an interruption. Let's ignore that. Looks like they're landing on 1.8 centre, that UPS. Like, UPS is using 1.8 centre. Well, we're not going to be faffing around using 1.8 centre or whatever. I'm not bothered. I'm still going to use 1.8 right, I think. 1.8 centre is slightly longer, but... do I use 1.8 centre then, or 1.8 right? What do I use? Judging by the fact in real life they're using 1.8 centre, look, so... You know what, I think we're going to use 1.8 centre. I think we'll use 1.8 centre then. That's what they're using in real life. So 1.8 centre. Plus 3. BWG transition. We'll probably have to put that in again now, won't we? Yes, I will. Enter that in again. It hasn't really changed anything at all. It literally hasn't changed a single thing about our route. Just need to make sure that, there you go. It actually shortened the gap. It allows us more time to get established on the ILS, so I actually kind of prefer it, gotta say. We'll have a little look at the new approach. Yeah, that's actually better, because it gives us more time to... It gives us 11 miles instead of 8 to get established on the glide slope and sorted out. So that's kind of better now. I'm guessing the minimums are going to be very similar, right? I mean, there you go, the speeds are the same, but I'm guessing the minimums are going to be very, very similar. Because, obviously, it's the same... I think, yeah, the whole airport's on the same gradient, I think. So, we can check. It does give us a slightly shorter taxi as well. So, it's kind of better. Minimums are 657, or they're a little bit higher. Oh, okay. Well, we'll go with it anyway, I guess. It's because, I don't know why, but for some reason the minimums are an awful lot higher, so... We'll just ignore that, I guess. There, 657. So yeah, so 657. I mean, hopefully the weather will actually clear up. There still hasn't been a new weather report on Memphis, and they're expecting one very soon now, really. Overcast 700 feet still. That was for an hour ago, so the weather's kind of inaccurate. It just hasn't been changed. I don't really know why. It just hasn't. Who knows why exactly? Yeah, well, listen, there is a longer runway, and it also, you know, I said it's slightly, it is easier for us to do. Simply, it just allows better access to the, to obviously, sometimes this thing can go slightly too quickly, so just makes sense. The airport's at an elevation of 400 feet, so basically 0. Just check our descent one more time. 163, takeaway 305, I guess, 305. Minus, it's gone back to 162, so there's 143 miles out of Memphis we're going to be descending. That sounds awesome. I'm happy with that. It's starting to get a lot quieter down in Memphis now. It's kind of good, isn't it, I guess? There's a FedEx plane due in. It's currently 10 to 5 now in Memphis, so it may be getting slightly lighter. I don't know, it doesn't look like it. Actually, over there, look, it's getting slightly lighter, look. So maybe by the time we get there, remember we're not descending yet for another 20 minutes, I think. Yeah, 20 minutes we're descending, so also that's 20 minutes for it to get a little bit lighter. So if we were in New York, I think we would be seeing it getting lighter, but obviously we are heading away from the sun. We're not with it. We're not friends with the sun. We're going the other way. So who knows? We'll just see what happens, I guess. Yeah, the wind's actually really started dying down now because we've been getting further through the US. It's now only 87 knots. It's still pretty strong, really, 87 knots of wind, but it's better than the what we had before, which was 110 knots. It's actually only 86 knots now, so obviously that means, I mean, saying that, it has actually started to go more towards a headwind than a slight headwind. Although we are still going quicker. We're approaching, for the first time this flight, 400 knots. It's the first time that the cruise have actually been near that. So that's kind of good, I guess. Alright, 700 knots until 70 miles, I don't know why I said that, 70 miles until we reach, what do you call it, until we reach Bravo Whiskey Golf, which is Bowling Green VOR. I think it's a VOR, yes, VOR. And yeah, that means that we're starting our star. However, doesn't mean start on descent, because like a lot of the stars in the US, it's massive. I mean the approach procedure, the arrival procedure. Yeah. You can see, looking at it, we'll be 75 miles, look, is the gap between the first waypoint and the second waypoint on our star. It's kind of insane. It doesn't fully start until Bluz. The first part was just a transition. So, yeah. Yeah, doing alright right now. Yeah, this stream's going to be quite long, actually. I think it'll be 3 hours plus right now, maybe. Right. Only 268 miles to run then, descending in 17 minutes. It is that bit of light over there behind us, that's getting a lot lighter. But whether it'll be light when we land in Memphis or getting lighter, I somehow doubt it. It'd be nice if we could have it, wouldn't it? But yeah. Oh, rip. I was just cleaning my keyboard and I hit the key F4, which maxes out the throttles, if you don't know. So just ignore that. Yeah. Rip. Well. Oh well. another plane's just landing in from Anchorage, and that is using 18 centre as well. So they're using 18 centre for arrivals clearly, and then 18 right and left for the other one. And then series clearly 0927 is closed. I think. Looking at it, Memphis Airport's not going to be empty pretty much now for the next hour because there's no more planes left to depart. I don't think. Or that many anyway. I don't think there's really any. Yeah, right now we're doing pretty well, really. Just sort of chilling here. 42 miles to Bowling Green, and then we'll go on arrival. There's one plane down in Memphis right now, FedEx 1473 to Boston. It's been online, I think, how long? Been online about 12 minutes now. I thought it'd been online longer than that, unless they disconnected and then connected. So it might still be online when we get to Boston, they might not. Just mean we need to do some weather reports. Just checking the weather actually. Okay, the weather is updated down in Memphis. It's now raining actually. Winds are 11013, so the winds picked up a little bit. Altimeter 2982. And overcast, so it was overcast at 700 feet, it's now overcast at 800 feet, so I guess that's kind of a bit better. It's 100 feet more visibility. Visibility, however, was 10 statute miles. No, it was 7 statute miles. Normally 10 plus is what you look for. It's now 4. So the actual visibility down in Memphis is quite poor. So we'll be seeing what's going on with that. I guess we might get some new weather by the time we get to Memphis. We might not. It seems a bit random, the weather down there. How often it's refreshing. So I guess it depends. Also, the last FedEx plane, just in case you're wondering, just left Memphis, so it's kind of calmed down a bit now. But yeah, hopefully it's a nice landing to Memphis. And I'm hoping it'll get a little bit light. Like FSX looks its most beautiful when it is dusk or dawn. But as I said, the sun's rising over there. It's still not very that little bit of light. It's getting bigger, but not by a lot. Not massively. Maybe by the time we actually land in Memphis and get all the ground crew set up and things, then it will be a bit better. Because by then it'll be, right now in Memphis it's actually 10 past 5. So it is becoming morning now. Not too far away from landing now either, which is quite nice. Descending in about 13 minutes, so not very long to go. The wind is actually slowly calming down. We're now doing 401 knots, 400 knots ground speed. So we're above 400 knots ground speed for the first time in ages, so that's kind of good. Oh wait, some ATC just came online. I think that's Charlotte approach. Looking at it, you can't tell because they don't use the. Oh, actually, they do use the code of the airport. Yeah, so there's Charlotte approach online. That's not for us though, so it's not really relevant, is it? Would be nice to have some ATC, obviously. As I said, it being 5 AM in Memphis, the locals are not going to be up doing ATC, are they? That's why it's so rare. Like, right now in the US, there isn't a single bit of ATC. However, it does obviously look the area. Charlotte approach are online now. So it looks like there's a little bit of ATC. That's the only ATC in the entirety of the US, however, so can't expect much. And I did some yesterday afternoon, so it was a bit later in the US. It was daytime in the US. And it was a little bit better. Still. Alright, only 10 miles from Bowling Green, then we're going to make a slight left turn. That'll probably increase our speed as well, because the wind direction has been following us. The wind direction earlier was 280, and as I've turned slightly left, every time I turn slightly left, the wind follows us slightly left as well. I wonder why the wind does that. It's being mean. The wind is mean. It's not really. It's a bit silly. I do think it's kind of funny, like, really? What are the chances? There's our top descent showing up on there, so we are descending very soon. Our initial descent is going to be flight level 240, Axel. So that's what our initial descent altitude is going to be. Because we don't want the plane zooming past the restrictions. It won't, I don't think, but it's just handy to have that. Also for my reference as to what the restrictions are. It's just easier. A lot easier, so that's fine. I'm going to go just turning left now. I have tried the built-in AEC is actually quite nice. It's alright. It's not the best in FSX, but yeah, it's not. It's more a matter of the default plane. I don't mind like ATC. It's fine, but it's nice to have it. Although, as I said, yeah, FSX ATC is maybe not the best. I have got Pro ATC. That's actually quite good. But it's nice just to fly without ATC if it's not there. Yeah, descending fairly soon now, about 60 miles, yep. So only 9 minutes. Speed has increased now, 405 knots as the wind starts to decrease and everything. That's pretty nice. Is it getting lighter? Yeah, back there, look, that bit of light is actually still about the same, I think. It looks as though it's quite similar to what it was before, so I'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, the new flight sim does have slightly better, definitely. The new flight sim has better ATC. That's one thing I can say. At least it gives out procedures. At least they follow stuff like that. It's one improvement. Is the default flying is at least better in the new game than it is in this one. This is FSX, by the way. So obviously all stuff is like that. I mean, the thing is, this game's actually really decent. Like, if you, again, I always say this, but it's like, if you buy the Aerosoft Airbus, both packages on Steam, and this game, it comes to the same cost as the standard edition of the new flight sim. So you can compare them because of the cost. And it is just a lot better at the moment. In a year, it'll be worse, but a year hasn't passed yet since the release of that game, so I'm not judging it. I am judging it, but I'm not playing the new one. I mean, that's what I meant to say. Also, Charlotte Approach just disconnected, but the ATIS is still online. They must be like swapping over something. We're doing alright now. Next waypoint is Harrod. That's where we're descending basically. We're descending literally just before it. So that's kind of good. It's 5:15 in Memphis, so that's the thing. I mean, the fact that it is that temperature in Memphis is kind of like, that temperature, that time in Memphis, it won't really be getting light, I don't think, by the time we get there. We'll see. Remember, the game is actually 5 minutes behind real world because of that slight thing I had. You know what? Let's just move the time forward. If we want to see light, we may as well move it forward to match real life. There we go. Because we can do that, and the game's fine with it. It also means we have more realistic arrival times and things, but because as I said earlier, obviously remember the plane loaded in and the sound was broken, so we ended up having that as a problem. So I had to reload it, and that cost us 5 minutes, which is why the game is now behind time. I need to actually tweak the time a little bit more. It's actually another minute ahead of that, really. So we'll just tweak it. I've got the time on my yoke, so it's now within 3 seconds of real world time. Believe it or not. So that's pretty big. Actually, that light's actually got more widespread now, so maybe we'll get lucky. Right, flight level 240 is our first descent target, and we need to be above it when we pass Axel, which we will easily be. Looking where Axel is on there. It doesn't look like that particular thing is going to affect us at all. We do need to be doing 290 knots at Axel, maximum. No, at 290 knots. It is at 290 knots, I think. So we'll. But that actually might be an increasing speed at that altitude. I don't know. It's about the same, really. I think. But we need to make sure the plane does stick to that then, which it should do. There you go. The FedEx in Memphis is just departed now, so we now have Memphis to ourselves once again. And now it's quieting down in Memphis. They're just using runway 18 centre. That's all they're using. Obviously, we're landing on 18 centre, so that's kind of good. That's much better. And now it's quieting down in Memphis. They're just great. I was wondering if my audio sounded okay. It was a bit weird in one stream I did, but it's alright. And yes, we are going to be descending fairly soon. Literally like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. That's kind of nice. Oh, there you go. Actually, that's why the ETAs were not matched up on my overlay in the game. I was wondering that. It's because the game was obviously behind time, wasn't it? I think I maybe forgot that fact a little bit. Well, there you go. Yeah, right now, look, that light is definitely getting larger. It's starting to get lighter. It's not exactly that light still, but we are going to be descending. No, we're going to be in Memphis, not for another, a little bit now, half hour from Memphis. So when we land in Memphis, right now it is in Memphis 5:17. So it's going to be about 5:45. Dawn is at 6:30, so it probably won't be getting light. I don't think. But dawn is when it first starts getting light. That's at about 6:40, 6:30. So if we're landing at 5:45, yeah, it's going to be still a little bit dark, I think. It's worth a try, I guess. Doesn't really matter. There's no special scenery really for Memphis. I just downloaded, unlike New York where we did have the Drzecki design free version installed. There's nothing like that for Memphis. I do need to go to more of his airports because he does a number of those free ones. that you can get. They're really good. So and obviously Krakow was another one that I've also been to in the game, and that's really cool. So maybe I need to visit more of them. I saw he did Tallinn. I think he's done a few others as well. Not all of his products are available with a demo free version. I don't think, but some of them are. So let's have a look. There's a few. It's mostly Polish airports really, but he has done a few American ones. So the New York pack comes with 5 New York airports, 2 of which I actually didn't install because they were just GA airports. So I've got something for JFK, LaGuardia, and Newark, which is cool. But the one we're flying into to Memphis, like most sceneries that we fly into, is just a scenery update, if you like, where someone takes a scenery, updates it to the latest taxi charts, and then leaves it. They don't move it to make sure it's in the correct place. They don't add anything. They just basically, it's like an update. Hello in the chat. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Had a lot of people in the chat today. Actually, it's been really good. Nice to see people enjoying the content. Wind's decreased a little bit now, but it's now pretty much bang on a headwind, so it hasn't really much difference. Right, descending in 9 miles. Okay, we don't need to announce me on Unicorn because there's no one in Memphis right now, so I think we'll be okay. I might still announce when we're on final, though. It's always a good idea to announce when you're on final, just in case. That's the most important when you're on final, because that's when people could get in the way. It's just a good idea, I think, isn't it, really? Just a good idea. Helps avoid issues, then. Right, we are descending in just 4 miles, 3 miles. Okay, now it's time, I think, that we, I'll click this, and then when it's time to descend, we'll start descending. There we go. This thing's now got the VNAV path. We're just waiting for that to kick in. Hasn't quite kicked in yet, actually. Oh, it says it's got the VNAV path, but it hasn't. I don't think the VNAV path is really triggered yet. And there you go, my plane just realised the exact same thing. However, it should have kicked in about now. There we go. There's the VNAV path making its way down, I think. Slowly. Or not. I thought 143 miles from Memphis it would start coming down. Oh, there you go, it's coming down now. It's activated itself. So there. We're now on the VNAV path, descending down to Memphis. And our speed's actually dropped off while doing that. Don't understand why the plane decided that. There we go. Descending at a pretty nice, I'm expecting what, maybe 3,000 feet per minute, something like, maybe a little bit under that, to be the normal kind of expected rate of descent. There we go, down we go then. It's fine, it has taken us a while, but we're finally at that point where we get to start descending. I'll just check it has actually tuned the ILS frequency correctly. It should have. 11195, course of 180, yeah. So it's tuned it exactly perfect, which is what we want to see, obviously. So that's fine. And yes, down we go. Only 133 miles now to Memphis, so not far to run. It's getting lighter, but I don't think it will be light when we get down there. Yeah, I know this thing did start to slow down a little bit. The cruise speed of this plane is about... It depends on obviously the cost index and things. It's up at 40,000 feet, it's Mach 0.83, so about 250 knots. And then it's about 280 once you get low, because obviously that's indicated airspeed. The cruise speed is based on true airspeed and Mach number. Mach number is the most important one. So At 40,000 feet with a cost index of 90, this thing does Mach 835. So it's fairly quick, actually. It is, it's fairly quick. And that's a true airspeed of about 480 knots, roughly. And then once we pass Axel, we're allowed to go down to 14,000. That'll be the next one, that's at Speaker. Oh, it's been 2 hours, look, so Skytrack wants to know what we're doing. So 12265, there we go. Yeah, so every 2 hours, Skytrack will ask you, the Fly UK like tracking application, to switch frequencies, just to make sure you're there. Obviously, if you're not at the cockpit, then it needs to know, really. Otherwise, yeah, it's just a good idea if it knows, really. Actually, our speed has increased, look, as we're descending. I think we would have actually been better off if we cruised at flight level 320 this entire flight, to be honest. Because the wind down here is so much lower. Oh well, that's Simbrief's fault, not mine. I read the weather charts, and according to the weather charts, they were about the same, so I can see why Simbrief read it. I don't know why the weather charts would be wrong. But if you look at the weather charts for... Actually, the weather charts weren't... No, never mind, they weren't. They're about 60 knots, that's saying. About 60 knots at flight level 340, and at flight level 300, they're about 50, 40 knots. Actually, yeah, so they were correct, the weather charts. I don't know why. I might be able to check out that game. I don't know. It's an app. I can't actually record on apps, but also, the plane's descent speed is decided by itself. It's the correct speed. In fact, we actually have to be at 290 knots at Axel. It is a restriction, but this is totally normal. How the plane's descending right now, totally normal. Not unusual. I'll go down to 40 nautical mile range now because more waypoints will start popping up. And you see, the restriction at Axel hasn't really affected us. We're already doing 290 knots as well, so that hasn't affected us either. We're descending down now quite nicely into our airport, into Memphis. We can cross off flight radar now, we don't need that. We know where we're landing now, what runway on. Can't really talk about our runway now anyway because we're in the middle of the descent. No weather through since that one about the raining, so it looks like it will be raining in Memphis, I think. Unfortunately, quite rare for the US. Right, passing Axel then, we're now allowed down to 140. And then we're allowed down to 140 by Speaker. We're going to be above, we're going to stay above that. Nice. I can check turboprop flights then. If it's an app, I probably won't be able to do recording on it. Yeah, it's an app. I don't know, I might be able to check. I've seen people play it actually. It does look alright, but... Yeah, I've seen people play it actually. It does look quite cool. I've actually had a little go on it myself. It is. I didn't really recognise it until I turned it on there. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Not just for turboprops. Although there's the FedEx going the other way. Look, that's going to Boston from Memphis. So basically the same direction as New York, just a little bit further. That's kind of interesting. So, I mean, it's 30 miles away, so we won't see it, I don't think. No. Our contrails disappeared. Yeah, we're doing good at the moment. We're slightly too low by about, well, it's 40 feet. Doesn't really matter, does it, that? 30 miles to Speaker. Got to be above 14,000. We've also got okay, QNH, my ultimate is 2982. Remember, I always forget this almost, but it's like in the US, I've got to set it at obviously 18,000 feet. Obviously, everywhere out like Europe is normally about 6,000, so it's quite a difference between the two countries, between the two continents. Really, I mean, I think it's most of North America, at least US. Anyway, it's pretty much all of the US. The game's cool actually. That Turboprop Flight Sim. I have played it, but I don't think I'll be able to do recording on it because it'll just come out in like phone quality. It's not really a PC game. Obviously, some of them are available on the Windows Store. A few of the apps I have got Extreme Landings. That's quite cool. Similar sort of app. It is an app really, but it's available for Windows Store. I've also got Extreme Landings Pro, because I remember Extreme Landings Pro used to be like £8. I think it's 40 now. There's a big update and it's £40 now, so I'm glad I bought it when it was 8. I wouldn't pay 40 for it, ever. One thing that has always interested me is Infinite Flight Sim. I don't get it. Like, it's like £90 a year or something, but for what? That's the same price as the new Flight Sim, but why? That's what confuses me, like, what does it have the other flight? And they only just introduced 6 and stars. So why is it so expensive? You think it's possible to play? I'll search it afterwards then. And if it is on Windows, then yeah, sure, I'll do a video about it. Because it is actually an alright game. I have played it on phone before. It is pretty good. Right, we're going to turn on the seatbelt signs. Again, I say this again, I'm not sure why a cargo plane has seatbelt signs, but it does. It just does. Actually, let's do our checklist, actually. I think we did the after takeoff checklist. Descent, yeah, all looking good. We've done all that stuff. And the altimeter we have got ready and set. Right. So the next checklist is just for the landing then. Looks like we are going to hit flight level 140 at Speaker, so it looks like that is a restriction. That is maybe impact us a little bit, because we need to be... Okay, yeah, we're definitely going to be stuck... I don't know, we need to be at 10,000 at Copen. That's why we're descending a little bit early. You can get it on Play Store, I think, yeah. I don't know if you can... with every film, I'm not 100% sure. So I've only ever really done like 1 or 2 landings in it. But yeah. Right, 18,000, let's go. Pressure. Altimeter 2982. Just check the weather, it hasn't updated since 10. Oh, it has actually. Few at 900 feet. Clouds broken 5,500, overcast 10,000. Wow, the weather's changed quite a bit. It's a little bit better now. The wind slightly stronger, but the low-level cloud's not as bad. QNH is actually now, not QNH, altimeter is now 2978, so it has actually changed a little bit. And it is still raining, so we're going to have to watch that. Visibility is still 4 statute miles. Really, we're looking for 10. 7 is, so 10 is like, 10 or above is basically what most conditions are. But 7 you've got is 7 is alright. I mean, I don't know, I'll have a look at the low visibility. I'm not totally sure what classes is low visibility, to be honest. Like a less than RVR 600, whatever that is. Yeah, maybe I need to, I don't know, I'm not very good with the low visibility stuff, really. Never really done anything. I mean, really, actually, I mean, this apparent low visibility is quite bad. Normally, weather's actually quite nice. Right, just past Speaker. Next altitude restriction is 10,000. And really, we're not going to reach 14,000 at Speaker either. We're going to get a bit close to it. We're currently 66 miles from Memphis right now. Remember, we're going to descend to 10,000 though at Copen, and then we can't go any lower than that. So we might be doing a bit of a slow descent from there. Hello in the chat. Hope you're enjoying the stream, obviously. Hope everyone is, of course, liking the content. Obviously. Partly why I do these streams. I could have just done this flat off camera, but I didn't. Thought I haven't done a stream all week. Let's do a stream today. At the moment, though, I can't do streams on Wednesdays, so at the moment, I think the only streams we'll have will be Saturday mornings. At the moment. And same with video, but you know, there has been less videos. But you know, if you guys want some tutorials on flight sims or whatever, maybe I will look into doing some more. Because Train Sim World, that series on the Bakerloo is basically not coming back now because we finished all the scenarios. After that, I didn't figure there was any point really continuing that. So that series is basically finished. The bush flying in the new flight sim, apparently there's been a few bugs with it in the new update, but I would be willing to. I don't know. Apparently there's like bugs with the achievements and things, but I'd be willing to maybe give that a go again. I don't know. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be sitting at 10,000 for a little bit. This plane's actually using it as an opportunity to slow down to the... Actually, yeah, we need to be at 230 knots at Copen, so that's why. We need to start slowing down. That's why our descent has suddenly dropped off. Makes sense, I guess, really. Vatsim does work with the new flight sim now, yes. The reason I'm not using it is because, well, if you go back and watch my last stream, you will see what happened, the last stream on the new flight sim, but basically there's a physics bug that occurred in the last update. I think it was update 3, it's not been patched yet, where the A320, around 20,000 feet climbing and descending, thinks it's doing 0 knots, which causes the game's physics to go nuts, and no matter what you do with the yoke, even if you disconnect the autopilot and all sorts, doesn't do anything, and you end up suddenly going into a dive because the plane thinks it's doing stupid speed, and because of the stress on the airframe, the game basically says no, and decides to say you've exceeded physics. So unfortunately at the moment, that game's basically not working, and even without that, I wasn't enjoying it as much. The planes in this game are by far better. Obviously their payware quality, that's why. And I said, really, the looks are my second thing in a flight sim. I don't care what it looks like, I want the plane to fly like it does in real life. Then I care about looks. And just the fact that the planes don't have airways in them either, you know, until they don't have a proper VNAV calculation, until, you know, fly-by-wire obviously make their A320 Neo a little bit better, until little patches happen, it's just not good enough. Right, we need to be at 2,000 on the ILS. No, 3,000. Yeah, 3,000. So we can go past the restrictions if needed. Oh, but yeah. Actually, yeah, I accidentally cancelled the restriction. That's what that does. I keep forgetting that. It actually cancels the restriction pressing on that, but I can't... So it's actually just got rid of the speed restriction that we did have. That's why our speed restriction went messed up then. I need to watch it, really. I'm not very good with the, How was our total descent just suddenly changed so we're 2,000 feet? It's because I changed the restrictions. I don't know how this plane descends a lot. I thought you had to click on the button to get it to descend. I guess not. It's fine anyway. It's still sticking to the speed restriction. We're alright. We're only 43 miles away now, so I'm looking to start descending quite soon, I guess. Right, I'm going to refresh that just to make sure it knows what our descent profile should be. So apparently we're 1,600 feet too high, are we? Apparently. Well, I'm going to put in a speed restriction at Lorry of about 200 to allow us to slow. Well, the descent profile has gone a bit old, really, but... Yeah, I don't know, I don't really mind. At the moment, I often just fly in real time. So if it's obviously it's nighttime right now in Memphis, so well, that's the time I sport in with. But I kind of like, for looks in this game in FSX, I prefer night. But I also quite like day because you get to see more. So it's kind of a bit half and half. This thing isn't sticking to any kind of descent profile right now, so I'm just going to go to like 1200 feet per minute and take control myself, because this thing is, I don't know why, but it just isn't sticking to any kind of descent profile. Unless the descent profile is wrong, which is quite possible. Let's do 1,000 feet. Actually, I haven't turned the landing lights on, have I? We've only just passed 10,000 though, so it doesn't matter. I mean, you can't do mid-air refueling in this game. You just have to see. Right, 34 miles to go. Down to 20 nautical mile range, I think. We'll set the heading now as well, round to runway heading 180. And we're going to be going into the clouds soon. The clouds that are currently covering Memphis Airport. Not the nicest of weather, as I've already said. Currently the clouds are broken at 5,500, so we're going to a thick layer and then break that at 5,500, and then there'll be a few a little bit lower on, but apparently the visibility is pretty poor, so we'll have to see about that. See what's going on. The descent path is slowly catching up with us as we're closing on the ILS. Currently nothing in Memphis. We'll still announce when we're on final. I'm reading the chat. Yeah, right now we're sort of right, passing 6,000. We have 27 miles left. I haven't actually. I just checked that's the correct thing. It's ISDU. That's what it's captured. So that means that we should be able to capture the localizer quite soon for the landing. I'm just going to go into the clouds now. Just about. There we go. Our distance off the descent path is slowly coming inwards. There we go. We're just about to go through the clouds now. Hopefully they're not that thick. Quite nice. So we're probably about 20 miles away from now, so that's pretty good. Trust me, I am reading comments. I've heard mid-air refueling a number of times, so you can stop repeating it in the chat. Yeah, we've got 11 miles left to Lorry, and then we can get on the ILS. Then a bit of lag there. I think we're just going through the clouds. I think we must have loaded in Memphis Airport, maybe. I'm not sure. Considering what Active Express did about the clouds, we still haven't gone through them. Like, we're still waiting to go through the clouds. Although we're 1,000 feet lower than the clouds actually are, apparently. There we go. Right, descending now, going through the clouds. Yeah, finally. Hopefully we'll come out those other clouds then, and we'll have quite a good view of Memphis Airport. That's what we're aiming for here. I'm going to start slowing us down about 200 knots, because yesterday I approached super quickly. It does creep up on you sometimes in this plane. It's the way it slows down isn't the best. Its decel logic isn't the best sometimes, so We'll go flaps 5 now. That'll allow us to slow down a little bit. And we'll put in some speed brake as well. That should allow us to slow down. And I'm also going to enable the approach, because we are within that. No, I haven't flown a plane in real life, no. No, it'd be nice. Right, there is, this is the city of Memphis. That's why it's only started lagging a little bit. Got all this lovely light. There's the, there are some custom lighting effects that were put onto this Memphis scenery by the person who made it. So it's really cool looking, actually. And then once we land, we're going to land on 18 Centre. We're going to vacate to the left on Echo, maybe Papa, something like that. And then taxi all the way down Sierra, that is, all the way down that. Cross runway 0927 and then into the FedEx ramp. So that's good. And then we're going to arm the spoilers then, slow it down to about 160 knots now. We're allowed to go up to flaps 10 without the plane yelling at us. Yep. Actually, no, flaps 15 it is. It skips out 10, this plane. And we're on the localised now. We should get the glide slope. How many is the glide slope at 2,000? Or the glide slope's at 2,000 in this plane. Okay, well, we'll let the plane descend a little bit further if it wishes. However, there's the glide slope, so I think we should be alright. And they go down, that goes, so we're all good. We're good. So we can now, there we go, the speed brake is armed and ready. Auto brake set to 2. Everything's ready for landing then. Let's have a little look at that. Looks pretty cool out there. Not Microsoft Flight Sim levels of quality, but close enough. So it's still pretty good. We're about, right, we're 9 miles out then. So not quite ready to go final approach speed. Final approach speed is 136 today. Hello in the chat. Got a lot of people watching. Well, for me anyway. I hope everybody's enjoying the stream, obviously. It's nice to see there's the 3 runways of Memphis. Obviously 18 left, 18 centre, 18 right. We're going 18 centre. We're on the glide slope now, so we're going to start descending. So down to 136 knots then, and we'll drop the gear. And then we can go flaps full. Yeah, it's just a flare. If you do quite a low speed, if you pitch up, it can still descend.
2,500.
So it's right. Wait for the gear to be down, then we can. There you go. Now we can go flaps all the way down for landing. That should help us slow a little bit as well. We're actually pretty good now on the slowing. Now I won't know what the gates are called, so I won't be able to. I won't be able to actually say what parking I'm going to. So here's all the gates. Look, there's a lot of gates. They may be cargo gates. I don't know. We're going to park at the whatever stand we can find on the FedEx ramp, which is what you do in real life because there's no parking chart. Oh, I'm flying the 777. Yeah, it says it in the title, but it doesn't say it on the overlay. Maybe I should include that on the overlay. But yeah, we're flying the 777 freighter, PMDG 777 freighter. Pretty cool. Right. Disengage the autopilot. I'm gonna take off the auto throttle because if you can use the auto throttle for landing in this plane. However, it does make life a little bit difficult when it comes to putting in the reverses later on. Right. Memphis traffic, Skyway 7581 on final 18 centre. Oh, we need to increase the speed a little bit here. Because I was used to having auto throttle, maybe. That's good. There we're good. Right. Plane should start increasing speed. We have got a bit of a 20 knot crosswind right now. That's why the plane, and I thought it was going off to the right a little bit. Obviously, I don't have rudder pedals, so
1,000.
if we have slight issues, I don't know. It is a little bit low. 136 knots is a little, normally it's around 145. It's because we're running very light today. This thing can take as many as 100,000 kilos of cargo fully loaded. We only have 28,000 kilos of cargo back there, so it's we are running a little bit light today. That's what, I'm just running off what I was given by my virtual airline, nothing else. So that's the reason for that. But yeah, having to approach a little bit carefully. But that's why it's a little bit odd to land, really. I am used to landing at about 140 knots. Not quite this low. But you can see the plane, obviously, with the crosswind a little bit. But we're managing it alright. It's calmed down. It's 18 knots. This thing's quite a steady plane, though. It's quite large. Might be a bit of a rough landing, I don't know. Often when I go idle when I go idle power, no, there's minimums.
Minimums.
Continue. Right, we can we'll hope for a half soft landing, but you never know. Okay, speed's looking alright now.
100.
Well, I guess we'll idle the power now, since we're just about
50.
according to the glide slope we're perfect, but I think we're a bit low.
10.
There we go. Oh, minus 335, not bad, I guess. It's alright. And reverses out a little bit. It's alright. Right, 70 knots, reverses in. And I think actually because of our slow landing speed, we're actually able to vacate on Lima, so that's good. Shorter taxi. Right, stop the clock. 2 hours 17 minutes. Disarm the auto brakes. Running lights off. Taxi lights on. And I would turn on the APU, but I need to make sure I can turn here first. Where's that APU? There. I think the reason the glide slope was slightly off is this scenery is totally in the wrong place. That's Papa we're vacating on, not Lima, as we're closest to in the real world. Obviously that does happen in FSX, where sometimes airports are in the wrong place. So that's why I think we were too low. Obviously the glide slope is kind of hoping the airport's in the correct place. We're in the USA, specifically Tennessee. That's where Memphis is. Gone from New Jersey. I know we took off from a New York airport. Technically Newark is in New Jersey. But there we go. Memphis traffic, Skyway 7581, vacated 18 Centre. Okay. There we are. Hello and welcome everyone to Memphis. We're going to taxi straight ahead here on Sierra, all the way over there, which is where the FedEx ramp is. We won't pick a gate until we get there because I have no way of knowing where the gates are. Actually, we're not going to use the one. I think we're going to use the other FedEx ramp. We're going to use that one. That FedEx ramp that's on this side of the runway. I think, if that's in the game, that is. It might not be in the game looking at this, so I'm not sure. But there we go. Hope everyone really enjoyed that flight. It's an alright landing. Pretty decent. Could have been slightly better, so the glide slope was mildly in the wrong place, thanks to the scenery being in the wrong place. It's only in the wrong place, like width-wise, not length-wise. So it's only in the right now. Sierra's in the correct place, but Delta is apparently saying that Delta's in the right place. I think, unless that's Kilo. If that's Kilo, it's totally messed up. No, that's Delta. So who knows? There's only some of them that are in the wrong place. I probably couldn't do that long a flight, to be honest, but I have done some flying around Australia. The 787 has some nice flights around Australia with Fly UK's franchise Topa Sky. Right, so apparently there's supposed to be a cargo bay. Yeah, okay, so this scenery is not totally up to date. It's 2 years old, this scenery. So the FedEx ramp that's meant to be there isn't there, but the FedEx ramp that's supposed to be here is there, so we're alright. Again, you know, sadly that's one thing with FSX, you know, that does often happen. What with this sort of thing, you know, this scenery is 200, no, what am I on about? The scenery is 2 years old, so we have got to expect some slight differences. FedEx ramp is basically just all of this area now, literally anywhere around here we can go. So it doesn't really matter where we go. So we're taxiing, this is Sierra, we're going to make it a right, so I think we're going to park, we can just park pretty much anywhere. I want to park against the terminal, I think. Again, I don't really know how big any of these gates are. Well, again, you can actually rewind the stream, by the way, but obviously I do plenty of streams as well, so that's good. Right turn. I can do better than a minus 300. I know the best plane for landing is always 787. I did a minus 40 in that once. That was pretty nice. Right. So yeah, turning, and then we'll just make a left turn, then we'll park against the terminal building. It's a bit better, isn't it, really? There's no specific terminal, like, there's no specific gate numbers here, as is normal with cargo. But yeah, the FedEx ramp that's meant to be over there doesn't exist, so we'll just ignore that. And then we'll basically make a left turn and park at one of these gates. So that we can go, not this gate, that's too soon. We'll go to this gate here, whichever one this is. It's quite a nice terminal building, actually. Got some nice textures. So we'll just make a little left turn. And there we go. Okay, well, welcome everybody to Memphis. Been a pretty cool little flight, this one. 5 minutes quicker than planned, so that was kind of nice. Shaved a little bit of time off. Still quite a long flight, really. Longer than I was intending it to be. That's because of the wind. The horrible, horrible wind that we had today. Obviously, no marshaller from GSX, so we'll just judge it ourselves. We'll park about, because obviously, normally want the engines around that middle point in FSX. So there we go. I don't know, I quite like the 737. The A320 I have is a little bit more basic because it's only the regular version, it's not the professional version from Aerosoft. So the A320 as well. I also quite like the 787, really. There's a lot of planes that I'm quite comfortable flying. Anyway, right, let's disarm that door then. And make sure that ground... Actually, we're on APU power, aren't we? So we can go ahead and turn off our engines. Right engine, left engine. Obviously, it being cargo, we can basically just open our doors straight away. It doesn't matter. Because cargo is not going to run out like passengers, is it? I guess we can turn off the useless seatbelt signs, and we can ask GSX to deboard us. So there we go. For some reason, there's no cargo operators here. I guess we'll just choose American Airlines. Doesn't really. There should be a cargo. There should be FedEx really here. Right. Apart from the nav lights, all of the lights get turned off, and hydraulics get turned off, and fuel pumps obviously get turned off. And then we want we want to go to ground connections, set wheel chocks, parking brakes off, and then connect the GPU. And open the door now, passenger door, well, for the crew. And external power on, APU off. Packs can come off, although they're automatic, so it doesn't really matter. Engine gens off, like bleed air. And that is it, I think. That is all good. Turn off the flight directors as well. And there we go, we'll watch everything be unloaded. All of the cargo. Obviously not going to sit here and wait for all of it. Right, stop recording the flight. We flew 841 miles. Yeah, beacon lights go off once the engines are off. Yeah, I did turn off the beacon light. Yeah, beacon light off. The nav light stays on until when there's power to the aircraft, the nav light is on. But the beacon light is according to the engines, which is, yeah, that's now switched off. Hope everyone enjoyed the stream. There we go. There we go. Right. All done. Hope everyone enjoyed the stream today then. Obviously. As we see everything get all unloaded from the aircraft, all the cargo and all that stuff. Oh, we're not just going to sit around, are we, waiting? But there we go. Another plane's actually at Memphis now. Delta going to Seattle. See, that's evidence of how in the wrong place my scenery is. Whoa! They just disconnected, did they? Just got flown back to my place. Right, there we go. Reset the clock and disconnect from Vatsim. And there we go. Hope everyone enjoyed that. You know what? Let's just go cold and dark for the fun of it. Actually, I think these stay on, don't they? Even on cold and dark, these stay on. Everything else gets turned off though. And we want the ADIRUs off, and finally engine power. There we go. We're now fully cold, well not fully cold and dark. We need to turn off the battery, whatever that is. Our emergency lights need to go off as well. But I am looking. There you go, there's the battery. That's better. Now we're fully cold and dark. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed today's flight, and I will see you in the next stream. I'll leave you with the background music now and the end screen. Hope everyone really enjoyed today. Had a pretty nice... Wow, that's the first ever chat I think I've ever had. I've had to scroll pages through. That's nice. And we're up to 128 subs as well, so thank you for all of that. Hope you guys did enjoy the stream and enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you in the next stream, probably next Saturday now, I'm not totally sure, but bye-bye!